cars for people who love cars. By people who love racing and race cars for people who love it too. This weekend, this beautiful facility just outside Charlotte will be filled with amazing classic automobiles, scores of historic race cars, and the Hall of Fame drivers who raced them at the Heritage Invitational. And it's live on Racing America. A beautiful afternoon here on this Friday in Concord, North Carolina. A sold-out crowd is here on hand at the amazing 1010s Motor Club. We're located just across the street from the famed Charlotte Motor Speedway, and an amazing event is unfolding here over these next 2 days that, again, tickets went for completely. The crowd is full. The people are milling about, enjoying their chance to see some of these great race cars, and in just a little while, you'll see some of these race cars on the racetrack as we get ready for day one of the Heritage Invitational. And hi, everybody. Welcome to the 1010s Motor Club and the Heritage Invitational. I'm Alan Bestwick. Thanks for being here with us today. We have a special event here for you. It's amazing, this beautiful property that was constructed by Rick Hendrick and Marcus Smith and their families for an event for people who love cars and race cars is unfolding here for just the second time. And we've been blessed by great weather, and we're blessed by an amazing group of cars. Tomorrow, the Concours d'Elegance will take place here, and you'll see nearly 120 classic, amazing, wonderful, valuable cars on hand, all looking to be judged, going through the process, hoping to win that prized Best of Show title at the end of the day. That's tomorrow. But the center of stage today is taken by the International Race of Champions, the IROC Series. Some 30 years of IROC racing on the track from the mid-1970s through the mid-2000s, now brought back by Ray Evernham and Rob Kaufman as a historic racing venue. And today, there are 7 generations of IROC cars, all represented here at 1010s Motor Club. And you'll see many of those cars on the racetrack in just a little while, driven by many of those Hall of Fame race drivers who wheeled them originally. That's coming up as the centerpiece of our race today. So, the paddock is packed. Lots of great race cars, lots of great drivers, lots of great race fans, and a great reporter, too. Amanda Busick is with us today. Hi, Amanda.
Hey, Alan, it looks like you're going to have quite a view for the racing action here today. I'm in front of the 1010s Motor Club, and you talked about the weekend that we have on hand. We kicked off the weekend yesterday with the charity event galas we kicked off at the Hendrick campus. We raised $300,000 for the Speedway Children's Charity, so what a way to kick that off. But today, as you said, is all about racing, and I'm standing outside, as you said, in the paddock, but we have a little driver autograph session going on with our IROC racers we're going to see coming up. You can see the vintage Indy crowd hanging out that way, but as we move down some of these drivers that are sitting here for the fans, you can see Bobby Labonte here, Scott Pruitt, Mr. Ken Strader joining us. Bill Elliott is our celebritant here this weekend, but Jeff Gordon back again this season. He was in that Pro-Am tournament last year, won it, racing in IROC this year. You're in that 1996 Firebird that you ended up winning Daytona in 98. You told me that you raced it at Monterey last year, but does she still fit like a glove?
You know, we maybe had to make a few adjustments since 1998, but it's so great to get back out. You know, I really never ran one of these cars on a road course before. We always did the big ovals with NASCAR weekends, and it was exciting to get a win in this car years ago. I appreciate Rick Hendrick having this car and bringing it back, letting me drive it, and Ray Evernham and Rob Kaufman, all the folks at IROC for making this series. This is like a reunion to the reunion, and seeing all old friends and people I never got a chance to race against all come together here at 1010s. It can't get any better.
Racing against on that front row, you'll be right next to Kurt Busch, who took the pole here today. What's going to be your secret to this track?
Well, I mean, Kurt and I had a lot of fun racing out in Laguna. I would imagine this is a little bit tighter racetrack here, so I would imagine we're going to have a lot of fun, maybe see a little more rubbing today. But we got a great group of guys that have all, you know, really brought great race cars and brought some speed. So we'll see where it goes. I don't know. We'll have fun.
Nice, Jeff. Enjoy it. That's a nice tease for today. You'll see Justin Bell sitting over there as well. He's going to be my co-host tomorrow on the Concours d'Elegance show. Alan, we have a busy weekend ahead, but let's get started with today.
Absolutely, Amanda. And look at that great group of drivers and the huge crowd of fans. It's really a feel-good day. It's a feel-good vibe at the Heritage Invitational today, and we're just getting started. So I mentioned that Rick Hendrick and Marcus Smith and their families founded this 10 Motor Club and the Heritage Invitational. When they were looking for something to set this event, this Concours d'Elegance, apart from others by where we are, who they are, and what goes on around here that it's most known for, they came on one theme of distinction for the Heritage Invitational: racing.
What they've done here at 10 Motor Club and grown the heritage over the years. And Marcus Smith and Mr. Hendrick have a vision of a huge automotive motorsports week out here in the Charlotte area, and I don't think there's any better place for it to do the classic heritage show, Concours type event. We're bringing these incredible vintage race cars, vintage race cars that people would go see if they were just parked somewhere statically. Now you're seeing those cars out on the racetrack with some of the original drivers who drove them. I just think that's amazing.
You look at how that event is growing and evolving. Now 10 being a big part of that, to see the display of cars, to see people show up and be so excited to see an event like that on the track here at 10. And then see these other events that are supporting that and just making it a big weekend. A total car enthusiast weekend, from legendary cars that are maybe collector cars to legendary race cars and drivers as well.
Said it well, legendary cars, legendary drivers, legendary weather too, and a beautiful course as we get ready for cars on the racetrack. So racing it is, and not just those beautiful IROC cars. Coming up next, a living history of IndyCar racing, and the Indianapolis 500 takes to the 10 course. The Vintage Indy Series is on the track when Racing America continues from the Heritage Invitational. Hi.
The name you know and trust is Hendrick, representing 26 top automotive brands with over 30,000 vehicles available. New, pre-owned, hybrids, EVs, and the most popular luxury cars and SUVs. You'll enjoy a world-class shopping and service experience. That's why Hendrick is the #1 rated dealer group in the nation for online reputation, with over 900,000 5-star online reviews. Visit HendrickCars.com.
This is what we do. We maintain and we obsess. It's hours in the garage and days slipping by. Trusting Pennzoil to protect what matters most. Taking care of the things we love. It sounds obvious. When you do it right, you're protecting an engine for its lifetime. So look under the hood. You'll see what drives us.
Engine protection for the lifetime of your vehicle. Pennzoil. Long may we drive.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
Hi, I'm Bobby Labonte, and you're watching the 2026 Heritage Invitational on Racing America.
On track in the IROC competition a little bit later on this afternoon. First, let's check back down to the paddock with Amanda.
Out the big stars here for the weekend, and Rick Hendrick is one of those celebrating. And I know we kicked off yesterday at the charity event. Thank you so much for hosting us over there. But today is all about racing. Who's your money on?
The one that can finish. I hope it's going to be wild to watch these guys because, you know, they're super competitive, and it's going to be fun to watch. But so much talent here, so many talented drivers. And I was just so impressed last night to see all of them there and the excitement of the guys they're riding with. And then today in the IROC race, it's going to be – I love watching the competition before they get in the car.
I know we were talking a little bit about memories with Bill Elliott yesterday. What memories does this bring back for you?
Golly, I just remember Mark and Dale Earnhardt Sr. and Gordon and all of them running those IROC cars. And, you know, I had an IROC car that Mark drove, and I put it in a warehouse and kind of forgot about it. And we pulled it out, and I think Jeff's driving it. But, you know, it's history, and it was showcasing talent from all sorts of racing. And to see Scott Pruitt and all the guys that are here competing, it's amazing. This is such a awesome event, and I'm looking forward to seeing it grow every year. But I'm a fan today. I don't have to worry about points. I don't. The car I've got in this race was borrowed, and we can fix it. So I'm just. It's good to see the fans. It's good to see the cars. It's good to see the drivers. And this is just pure love of the sport.
Thank you, Mr. H. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Alan, I think we're all fans today, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah. Always great to hear from Mr. H. And, man, to thank you, Rick Hendrick, one of the founders of this beautiful 1010s Motor Club here in Concord, North Carolina. So we talked about IROC and what we can expect later on today, and more on that coming up shortly. But first on the track is going to be the Vintage Indy Series. And a pleasure to welcome Nate Dreyer with us. Nate, you see him on short track racing telecasts all over the Midwest, like from my pals Berlin Raceway. Also the series announcer for Vintage Indy. So for people that are new to Vintage Indy, what is it?
Yeah, so Vintage Indy, really, really unique series that we've been able to put together. It's our 9th year running on track competitions, or somewhat competitions, let's say, exhibitions on track, and it's a great opportunity to be able to show off somewhere 80 or 90 years of IndyCar history on track. And the whole point of what our series is, running in conjunction with the NTT IndyCar series oftentimes as well, is to be able to get these race cars on track in front of people and being put through their paces a little bit in a way that just showing them at a museum can't quite do.
So we've got a great variety of cars that have towed here to the Heritage Invitational to display for us on the track today.
Yeah, we certainly have. As I mentioned, you look at all that history that we oftentimes have. You're looking at 1930s, a Miller chassis, all the way through. If you're a fan of the monstrous kart era cars from the 1980s and the 1990s, you're going to see all of that on the racetrack, certainly with us here this afternoon. So that's going to be a ton of fun that we're going to be able to get out on the racetrack in just a few minutes here when we fire things up.
All right, well, waiting for the Paddock to get the go signal, and look at the crowd here on the terrace. Did you get a chance to get some lunch?
I did, actually. I had a chance to get some lunch. I had a chance to check out this whole facility. I mean, this is what an unbelievable, you mentioned at the open, but this is such an unbelievable job by everyone, of course, involved. The event itself as well, from Ray Evernham, everybody on down that helped put on this event, the way it's been done. We've had a chance to run a lot of different exhibition stuff along with the IndyCar events, like I mentioned. This has been one of the most pristine and premier events that we've had a chance to check out with our cars. And I know all of our owners throughout the paddock have just been singing the absolute praises of everything the last few days.
So let's talk about, in general, the group of people that have brought these cars here. Owners, drivers, collectors who have a passion for Indy cars, the Indianapolis 500, and so on.
Yeah, I think what makes this group so great is you get a great combination of a lot of owners that maybe they had this one specific car where they worked their whole lives to be able to own what they do have. And they put a lot of sweat equity into being able to keep these cars on the racetrack and restore it. You have others that are great collectors of race cars and have multiple multi-million-dollar cars. And the great thing is it's everyone able to come together, and it's really the shared passion of not just IndyCar racing, not just these cars themselves, but being able to keep them on the racetrack, showing off that history. And also, all of the owners are so accessible to the fans. Our paddocks are always fan accessible throughout the season. We've got 6 other events, we'll talk about this, that we run with the NTT IndyCar series throughout the year. And almost all the owners, or I would say all the owners, kids can get in the cars, they'll talk to you, they'll tell you the story more. So I think that's the best part about this group of owners is their shared passion for having the cars on track and for telling the story and keeping the history of Indianapolis alive.
Yeah, waiting for them to finish firing up the cars. Of course, just like if you're familiar with IndyCar racing, they don't carry on board starters, and it takes a minute to get them up and get them going.
Yeah, it certainly does. And that's, the really interesting thing as well, you look at those cars from the 80s and 90s in particular, like the kart era machines, like we've got the Pennzoil Hall. Lola is one that we've had a story about. We'll talk about a little bit on this too, but these are cars that in order to keep them running a lot of times, you have to run like the hardware and the software on computers that the cars had back in the 90s as well originally. So you've got old laptops running them and all of those different diagnostics going into things. And Al Unser Jr., the 2-time Indianapolis 500 champion. He's been our pace car driver for the last few years, and he's behind the wheel of that Dallara EXP.
So getting the vintage Indy field rolled off from the Paddock area there. And this race course that the cars will be doing their demonstration on, it's 1.7 miles and 19 turns around, designed by former Formula One driver and Le Mans winner Alex Verts. And it's got massive elevation changes, so it's going to give us some beautiful pictures and a beautiful setting to see these vintage Indy cars run.
Yeah, we had a chance, I had a chance along with the rest of the group to go on the track walk yesterday, and it really is amazing the amount of elevation change. The camera pictures can show a lot of it, but the amount of elevation, the sweeping corners, the tight nature of this racetrack. And remember, a lot of these cars, especially the older ones, they were only set up to turn left originally, like that Miller that you see going across your screen.
Yeah, an Indianapolis 500 old-time car. What is that? That's from what year?
1932. So that's essentially the Miller chassis. Harry Miller cars won 9 500s. His engines won 3 more. If you're looking at the 20s, in the early 30s, like 80% of the field would have looked exactly like that machine.
So look at the beautiful setting here as the cars make their way around the course behind the pace car being driven by Al Unser Jr. Al's going to stop by and visit with us in a little while. But we can start to talk about each of these cars as they go and spend a little time focusing on some of them. The numbers are down a little bit because it's already been, this is the second day of running here at 1010's Motor Club for these cars, and a couple of mechanical issues for some of these older race cars have kept a couple of them in the Paddock area.
Yeah, we had a couple of practice sessions yesterday. Unfortunately, lost a couple of cars, but still a good contingent out on the racetrack. I mean, these cars would blow up and have issues when they were brand new 30, 40, 50 years ago. So despite all the work to keep things going, but all those cars still, if you're here, are available back in the paddock in a great collection along with the ones we'll be able to talk about on the track here.
So that beautiful bright yellow Pennzoil car, focus on that for just a minute. John Andretti has driven this machine in competition before.
Yes, he has. So John Sweeney owns that machine, 1991. It's a Lola T9100 Chevy-powered machine, and that's got the original Chevy engine. A lot of times, these cars maybe will shift the engines for exhibition running to either a NASCAR engine or something else. That's got the original. There's quite a story in terms of the restoration on it, the original Chevy engine that it ran in IndyCar. But in 1991, John Andretti won the season opener at the Gold Coast, was 8th overall in points. But again, a cool car and a winning car for John Andretti.
That's from 1991. Beautiful. And of course, there are a few paint schemes, liveries, if you will, more distinctive than the Pennzoil yellow, still in use in the Indianapolis 500 today.
Yeah, for sure. And Team Penske has kept that going. They've got the Pennzoil sponsorship throughout multiple forms of motorsports, but most notably, of course, Scott McLaughlin the last few years has driven that yellow submarine in the Indy 500.
Another distinctive historic livery running just in front of the Pennzoil car is that bright, beautiful STP livered machine.
Yeah, I guess the first thing is the debate. Is it orange or is it red? Is
that
right? Day-glow red, day-glow orange STP color, and it's such a difficult color for the restoration. An interesting story with this car. This is a tribute to Swede Savage's 1973 Indy 500 car that Savage ultimately suffered a crash in and would lose his life. But Savage, such a great history as a driver. But this car was built kind of off end-of-line parts, so to speak, of 1972 Eagles. And it changed hands a couple of times. And Ted Warner, who's behind the wheel, when he took ownership of this car a few years ago, he was a big Swede Savage fan. And he decided that I think the best thing we can do is we can take this car that obviously doesn't exist anymore, and let's pay tribute to Swede, who is just one of the great overall drivers, certainly a guy that if he didn't lose his life way too young at the Speedway. He would have gone on to be a multi-time 500 winner, probably a multi-time IndyCar champion. So a really cool and a really beautiful, unbelievable job they did on the restoration and recreation of that car.
People of a certain age, of which I am, will just think Andy Granatelli immediately when you see that big STP decal on the front. Now, the next car in line right there, that beautiful 48, the name painted on the side is Mosley, Mike Mosley, who was one of my favorites as a young kid to watch. So this car brings back some memories for me. Yeah,
this is from 1980, the factory AAR Blatt car, boundary layer adhesion technology. This is the very early signs of the beginning of ground effects like we've seen throughout motorsports, and you can see the way it seals to the bottom of the racetrack. Mosley ran 5 races in 1980, but when you're looking at the development of aerodynamics, we looked at that last Eagle. Now you see this newer Eagle. This was where you saw the speeds getting way up over 200 miles an hour, and they really started focusing on wheeling those cars to the ground, and this is a perfect example of that boundary layer adhesion technology, 1980, the factory Eagle for AAR Racing.
All-American racers, Dan Gurney, of course, and Mike Mosley, Californian, who was out on the IndyCar trail for many, many years, and one of those fan favorite underdog guys. Always seemed like chasing some of the big guns at the front of the field. Speaking of the front of the field, moving a car ahead from Mosley, coming down the hill, that beautiful white and red machine.
That one a couple years newer, looking at the same sort of machine, an Eagle with the same sort of technology, but that we talked about Alan Sir Jr. Yep. This Coors Light machine was his rookie car at the Indianapolis 500 in 1983. Jim Weddle out of St. Louis, Missouri, just finished the restoration on this car last year in one of its first events out here with us.
Saw that car without the body covers on it yesterday. You talking about the displays in the paddock. And by the way, all the vintage Indy teams, they have a beautiful sign detailing the history of the car along with the car that's displayed in the paddock. But they had the body covers off this machine yesterday, and you look underneath it and you say, oh my gosh, there's nothing there. These guys were brave when they drove those cars at high speeds.
Oh, unbelievably, and especially one of the things that stands out to me when you look at a car like that one, and we'll talk about certainly guys that are hanging out the side of it like Mike Lynn is in the 7 there, but how close to the front of the car they were. Their feet are right in the nose cone on top of everything.
All right, let's talk about that Miller.
Yes. So mentioned, of course, that Miller, that's what cars would have looked like the bulk of the field throughout the 1920s and 1930s. This 1932 version cross-spring Miller chassis, Ford B-block, the power plant in that car. Red Oliver was the driver of this machine, and kind of an interesting point of history because Millers were oftentimes dominant when they also ran Harry Miller designed and built engines. This went to the Ford B-block, and they kind of struggled with it a little bit in the early 30s when they went to this design, but Brightwood Airport in Indianapolis, the sponsor on that machine, and Mike Lynn, who is one heck of a character, and I mean he's hanging on for dear life. Of course, has a handbrake that he has to operate, hanging out the side of the car and wheeling that thing around this circuit.
And you see him looking around at the traffic because he knows some of the more modern cars are going to be coming by in a hurry, but everybody playing nice and respectfully there. Now let's see, that's the STP machine coming by, but for a machine like that, I mean, think about how many years old that is, to still have it in running condition and to be a living, breathing beast still after all these years. It's such a great thing for those of us that are fans of the sport to study its history.
And you know, the funny thing is, too, that's one of the most bulletproof cars we have, too. When you look at the other cars that may have little technical gremlins here and there, and Mike does a great job taking care of that car, and he's able to make some quick fixes when it does happen. But that's a car that's at pretty much every event we run ever since the start of this thing, and he's constantly able to get it out there. Doesn't need to warm up. He just fires it up last minute, runs out onto the racetrack. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's great. Let's see who else we got in line here. This car had the name of Mario Andretti displayed on the side of it.
Yes, Greg Goodman out of Nashville, Tennessee, 1990 Lola T90. So you saw the T90 100 just in front of this car. Once again, that Chevy power plant. 1990 for Mario Andretti. He was 7th in kart points, had 4 podiums. His son Michael had 5 wins that year, and bringing it all together once again. Al Jr. was the champion of the 1990 kart season, but once again, that Andretti curse at the Speedway for the team. This car, of course, in its road course trim, but at the Speedway for Mario, had a DNF on lap 60 after he started on the second row of the grid. This car had some real technical problems yesterday into today. There was all hands on deck effort. Nearly didn't make the practice session this morning, but great work by all the crew on that 6 team that Greg brought with him, and able to get the car out here and in front of the patrons here today.
And here's one of the things I love about the detail on this machine, even Greg Goodman's helmet. Right? That's the Mario Andretti helmet scheme, right? The silver with the red-orange stripe down the center. And how fun is that Greg even took the detail of that to replicate Mario's helmet.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things. That a lot of these guys have got similar either suits or helmets that go along with what they show because they want to be able to paint that whole picture. Plus, I think for a lot of these guys, they get a chance. I get to be Mario Andretti for the next 30 minutes, and don't we all want to do that if we get the chance?
Yeah, a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Is this the Bobby Unser car?
That's the Al Jr. car.
The Al
Again,
Jr. car. Okay, yeah, we saw that one. Yeah.
The Bobby Unser car, one of that's a 1979 car. That's one of quite a few we've got back in the Paddock area here. About 16, 17 cars with us, and about half of that have been able to take the start. A lot of the cars we're planning on only being show cars here for all the fans to check out. But this once again is a look at that the rookie year car for Al Unser Jr.
So as we look ahead. The summer months and what's ahead for the Vintage Indy Series. Where can folks see them in person if they're not able to be here with us in North Carolina today?
Yeah, so this is, I would say, pretty easily the best schedule that we have ever had with the Vintage Indy Series in now our 9th season of competition. We have 6 more events that we are running, all in conjunction with the NTT IndyCar Series. So if you're already going there to watch Indy cars, how about you take a look at some older cars as well. We'll, in June, be both at Worldwide Technology Raceway and Road America. We're going back to Nashville Superspeedway in July for the race there. And then 2 brand new events for us. First off, we'll be at the Milwaukee Mile. Second to last race of the year. Isn't that just so appropriate that historic racetrack will have these historic cars back on it? And then a really fun one to end the season. We're going to be at Laguna Seca as we close the IndyCar season out on Labor Day weekend. So 6 chances that you'll be able to see us. And if you're already at the IndyCar race, make sure you're able to watch these cars and check out the paddock and see these plus many, many more cars that will join us throughout the year.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And again, a variety of race courses involved there and some great classic historic venues for IndyCar racing as well included on the Vintage Indy schedule. And, these guys, they're all collectors. This is all on them. They're not here doing it for anything other than the love of and the preservation of the history of the sport.
Yeah, and that's the great thing, kind of as we talked about at the beginning, the amount of passion for the sport that all these guys have. They all follow the sport intently today as well, but they've got all of this knowledge of what went into their cars and what went into the restorations, and they are more than happy to share it with everyone. And just being around these guys and all the research that they, of course, did on their specific cars while restoring them, you learn so much. Every single time they'll tell you a new story that, like, oh, I got to share that on the air next time, because they just are able to bring so much more knowledge than what we can even just, be able to fit in while the cars are on track a lot of times.
Yeah, it's terrific. They ever let you get behind the wheel of any of them?
I have not. The problem is I got to be talking when they're out there for the most part. So there's a couple guys that'll let other people drive them. I may have to see if I can get a wireless mic set up or something one of these times and see if I can get out there in the 7 car, and I'll just call it while I'm hanging out the side of it.
Yeah. So a couple of cars maybe we haven't been able to see on the track that maybe were really of interest to you that they brought here to the Heritage Invitational this weekend.
Yeah, so I think the one type of car that we don't have on track that are back in the paddock areas, we've got a couple of roadsters. We've got a Novi Vespa special along with a Watson, the Denver to Chicago trucking special from 1961, the Novi Vespa from 1959. Of course, Watson chassis, you're talking about post-World War II all the way through the early 1960s. That's what won the race, essentially, of course. And then the Novi slipped in there, winning a couple of races, having some success with their big thundering engines as well. But those are a couple of the front-engine cars that are back in the paddock area, along with a ton of other cars. Scott Borchetta out of Nashville and Big Machine, he brought his Mario Andretti 1985 Newman Haas Lola. Unfortunately, they had an engine failure yesterday, so he hasn't been able to make it out today. But that's another one that they were able to haul out here in a really, really nice restoration on that car that just unfortunately wasn't able to make it today with some of those issues a day ago.
One of the ones that I enjoyed having a look at back in the paddock was the True Sports March, the Budweiser car that Bobby Rahal drove.
Yes, that's one that runs a lot of events with us, 1985. It's a March chassis Cosworth engine. That car that you'll be able to see throughout the rest of the year with Vintage Indy as well, oftentimes on the track. Went to a 2nd place finish in 1980, or sorry, check that. It went to a 27th place finish after starting 3rd in the 1985 500 for Bobby Rahal. So that's a really cool one that's there. A couple of cars that were display only going into the weekend, not even with some of the technical gremlins. A really unique story. It's numbered number 70 back in the paddock, but it's a Lotus 26. And Tom Cotter of Barn Find Hunter, the TV show, they found that race car in a barn. And there's been a lot of research done with it, and they believe that this is the lost 1963 Jim Clark rookie year car. Bobby Marshal also suffered a fatal crash in the chassis a little bit later, but that car back in the paddock, there's some historical checking being done. The car going to be restored. It's stored here locally in Charlotte, but some really unique history there that potentially looking at the rookie year car for Jim Clark. Also, by the way, the rookie year car for Mario Andretti is back in the paddock. Ray Skillman out of Indianapolis brought that car with him this weekend as well.
Yeah, Ray has a couple of cars here that, and he's got quite a collection in the Indianapolis area. And again, the passion for the Indianapolis 500 and its history and preserving it, and for those who have competed in it as well. Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum, always participant as well in a lot of things like this, and just saw it's a new director here as well, checking it out on the weekend at the Heritage Invitational. So a lot of good things happening here, and of course we're not far from the month of May, and at the ring special for a lot of folks from around America, and particularly those in the heartland. So we wind down the Vintage Indy display as part of our Heritage Invitational. What are your memories of IROC?
My memories of IROC, I think, well, first off...
Well, let me establish first. You're a young guy.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was going to have to say. I think I was born in about 98, so it would be the later, the Firebird sort of era for sure. But, I think I can remember, especially when they would run those Friday night races, under the lights, you think of like before Daytona and some of those weeknight races. I'd rush home from school to be able to see those and watch a lot of all the big stars. I grew up a huge Jeff Gordon fan. I'll openly say that on the air. Got a chance to meet him today. That was exciting for me. But I think being able to watch that, it was always so fun, and that was the memory for me, is especially when they ran those Friday night or those kind of off sequence races versus the Sunday ones. Rushing home from school, firing it on, and being able to see those events. And man, I just love being able to see those cars back on the track. The names, the legendary names that are behind the wheel again this weekend here of all those cars.
And just the tip of the cap, because the effort that it takes to bring a vehicle like this out and have it in form to just go on a demonstration run on the racetrack, and the effort to get here from various parts around the country. These people have all made a tremendous effort and put in countless hours on these machines to keep them in the condition you see them today.
Yeah, that's 100% true. And these things are temperamental. They're designed to be right on the edge of not running essentially at all times, and they're constantly throughout the weekend needing to tune on things and be able to keep these cars just on that edge and running. But then the amount of work before the events, you think of a lot of these cars running methanol, so you have to do a process called pickling the cars and be able to get the methanol out of the race car, and all of this different sustaining work that has to be done. That's the main thing, is it isn't just like even some race cars that you can just kind of put in the garage, take out on the race weekend, get her tuned up. It's a constant preservation effort to have these cars in the correct stead to be able to get to the racetrack and be able then to run them a couple of times throughout the weekend.
And I was at the drivers' meeting this morning along with you for the Vintage Indy Series, and one of the things that they pointed out, and rightly so, and give them credit here, just to have correct tires to put on cars like this, and support and accommodation from the folks at Goodyear, an important effort for the Vintage Indy Series.
Yeah, Goodyear has been a lifesaver in a lot of ways for a lot of the owners, a lot of the teams that run these cars, because they've been able to put together a vintage racing tire division essentially that is able to create the tires that can work for these cars, work for what we do, be able to fit these unique race cars, have a lot of those old scans and that old data as well. That's a great point. They have been an unbelievable partner for us for the last few years, and most of these cars, I think pretty much all that are here this weekend, are running that Goodyear rubber and do all throughout the season because of the work that they've done and what they do behind the scenes for us to be able to actually get tires on these race cars. Because, yeah, it's down to those little details that are tough to be able to procure for any of these machines.
Yeah, and so great to see some of the Vintage Indy cars as they finish up their session here on this 1010s Motor Club as part of the Heritage Invitational. You look at the beautiful course that's laid out and some of the beautiful cars that are taking part in their opportunity to be on it. And having all those cars in the paddock this weekend with the IROC cars and then all the Concours cars that'll come in for tomorrow morning, it's it's really a fun vibe to be around. And I know all of these vintage Indy collectors and aficionados are really enjoying it.
Yeah, I said at the beginning, say again, the thank you we have to ask everybody from the Heritage Invitational for letting us come and be a part of this weekend, because, yeah, to be able to see not just those IROC cars alongside our cars on the track, but then what's coming tomorrow. I've already heard some of the cars that we're going to see tomorrow, and I'm so excited to be able to see some of what's coming along with the race cars, some of those on display as well. This is such an unbelievably well-run event and such a cool thing. We hope to be a part of it for sure going ahead in the future as well, because it's been really, really unique already to be a part of. And, you know, the weekend, in a lot of ways, is just getting started here, of course. So we have had an absolute blast. I can speak for all the owners, from Mike Lashman, our president, on down with the organization, how thankful and grateful we are to have gotten a chance to come out here to Concord and be a part of it.
It's great fun to be walking around the paddock and see all these cars and talk to some of the people that own and drive them, and their passion for it. And Nate, we appreciate your jumping in with us and filling us in on all these wonderful machines, and look forward to spending the rest of the weekend.
Thank you very much. It's been an honor, pleasure to get to sit up here with you for sure and talk about the history of these cars a little bit.
Nate Dreyer from the Vintage Indy Series, and watching the end of their exhibition here today. Their cars part of the Concord Elegance here tomorrow. And down in the paddock, Amanda Busick has a guest.
To see my heroes growing up as a kid, so that brought me here, and this organization of this event has been one of the best I've ever been at.
You said that I want to let the audience know how you acquired that car, but what was the get you on that?
Yeah, so I grew up in NASCAR, but my heroes were always short people like me, and Mario Andretti was 5'6", I'm 5'6", Mark Martin over there is 5'6", and so I was standing actually in the museum at Indy when they found me, and I'm one of the few people that could fit in the car. So that's what I at least going with. So, but I will tell you that as far as my time with these heroes, there's nothing like it. For my son and I to travel around the country and work on on oil leaks and everything else in the pits with an actual Andretti team that remembers the car, that's priceless. And so it's given my 27-year-old son and I something we can tour around the country and do.
Great story, Greg.
Thank you so much.
Alan, that is certainly what it's all about down here.
It's again, you hear the passion and the emotion in the voice as these people get the chance to climb from these race cars, and really just the joy in what they're able to do. And that's the Vintage Indy Series as part of the Heritage Invitational here today. All right, so as they wind down their track session, we'll change directions and put some fenders over the tires and get ready for IROC. The IROC Series comes back again. It's here as part of the Heritage Invitational today. Drivers and cars on the track soon, and this time in actual competition. You'll see it shortly as Racing America continues live from North Carolina.
The name you know and trust is Hendrick, representing 26 top automotive brands with over 30,000 vehicles available. New, pre-owned, hybrids, EVs, and the most popular luxury cars and SUVs. You'll enjoy a world-class shopping and service experience. That's why Hendrick is the #1 rated dealer group in the nation for online reputation, with over 900,000 five-star online reviews. Visit HendrickCars.com.
This is what we do. We maintain and we obsess. It's hours in the garage and days slipping by. Trusting Pennzoil to protect what matters most. Taking care of the things we love. It sounds obvious, but when you do it right, you're protecting an engine for its lifetime. So look under the hood. You'll see what drives us.
Engine protection for the lifetime of your vehicle. Pennzoil. Long may we drive.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
The name you know and trust is Hendrick, representing 26 top automotive brands with over 30,000 vehicles available. New, pre-owned, hybrids, EVs, and the most popular luxury cars and SUVs. You'll enjoy a world-class shopping and service experience. That's why Hendrick is the #1 rated dealer group in the nation for online reputation, with over 900,000 5-star online reviews. Visit HendrickCars.com.
This is what we do. We maintain and we obsess. It's hours in the garage and days slipping by. Trusting Pennzoil to protect what matters most. Taking care of the things we love. It sounds obvious. When you do it right, you're protecting an engine for its lifetime. So look under the hood. You'll see what drives us.
Engine protection for the lifetime of your vehicle. Pennzoil. Long may we drive.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
Racing America is live at 10 Tenths Motor Club in Concord, North Carolina. It's day one of the Heritage Invitational. We've got the Concord Elegance tomorrow, but the feature event for the rest of this Friday is the International Race of Champions. Now, Ray Evernham, the NASCAR Hall of Famer, he got his start in the national competition, if you will, by working at the IROC series. Their headquarters was Tinton Falls, New Jersey. Ray grew up nearby in Hazlitt, New Jersey. Well, today, Ray not only is the executive director of the Heritage Invitational, but he and former NASCAR team owner Rob Kaufman are the co-owners of IROC now. And Amanda Busick is standing by with a man of many hats today, Amanda.
Yes, a man of many hats here this weekend. Just told me off camera that he's restoring this car. He's going to be in race control, trying to keep the drivers in track today. We were just talking off camera about the audience on YouTube that's watching on Racing America. So, hey, everyone. But when you think of the personalities that are going to be in this IROC race, in race control, how do you keep them together?
Well, there's a bunch of screens in there, and I've got Mike Phillips, who's got several years of NASCAR experience. So, you know, in all seriousness, they're all good guys. They get it. They're here to entertain the fans. They're driving really historic IROC cars, so they're going to be careful, most of them, I hope. But, you know, they are here for the fans. And, you know, we've got a great group of drivers here that have been signing autographs, taking pictures, and they're going to go out and have a little bit of fun. They ran pretty hard this morning, about a couple seconds faster than I thought they were going to run. But I told everybody, 2 wheels on the track. We have a black flag. You know, we have penalties. So hopefully we don't have to use that, and they get out and have a really good race and put on a great show for everybody here.
Alan was listing some of the jobs that you have here this weekend, and I know you're getting one place to the other, but do you ever pause and just look around, look at the fans and the event that's happening?
I do. You know, this morning, and then we kept, you know, we hated to say we were sold out. You know, we were happy to be sold out, but I wish we could have let more folks in here, but it just goes to show that how much the history of the sport means to people, and not just older people. There's been younger people here, and they're getting autographs and pictures. They know these drivers. They know the legends. They know the history of IROC, and it's really neat to see how much recognition the brand still has.
Well, you take a look at the front row that we're going to see in this IROC race. You have Kurt Busch on pole. You have Jeff Gordon on the outside of him. How do you handle that conversation with those two drivers?
So I've got the top 7 guys. They're in that white tent over there, and I just went in there and I just said, look, I don't care. You guys work it out. Just don't wreck one another. They get pretty serious. I don't care what anybody says. It's all about fun until you put up a trophy, and then it's, hey, how fast did he go? Hey, take a little wedge out. Can I drop that tire pressure? Raise my track bar. You're like, all right, we're having fun, right, guys?
Well, we had the charity event last night. Today is all about motorsports. Tomorrow we switch to the Concours. How are you going to take in the day?
Honestly, they have done an incredible job. Mr. Hendrick and Marcus Smith and all of the people at SMI. You know, you look at the clubhouse and the beauty. Tomorrow, with 120 incredibly beautiful classic cars around here, everything from Duesenbergs to Ferraris, and the music, the picnic atmosphere, people with the hats. It's kind of like a mix of the Kentucky Derby and a Concours. And then up top, we're going to have all the 1980s cars, people dressed like from the 80s. It's just a big garden party, if you will. But I'm excited. There's cars coming tomorrow that I have not seen before.
Well, I know you can't wait. We can't wait either. And Alan, I know you're going to have a pretty good view of tomorrow's action as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And looking forward to it very much. Thank Ray for his time. And again, Ray serving as the executive director of the Heritage Invitational, as well as now one of the co-owners of the IROC series. So we'll see IROC here in just a little while as we continue on day 1 here at 1010's Motor Club. This beautiful facility just across the street from Charlotte Motor Speedway that is sold out today. The paddock is packed and the sun is shining on a beautiful day.
The name you know and trust is Hendrick, representing 26 top automotive brands with over 30,000 vehicles available. New, pre-owned, hybrids, EVs, and the most popular luxury cars and SUVs. You'll enjoy a world-class shopping and service experience. That's why Hendrick is the #1 rated dealer group in the nation for online reputation, with over 900,000 5-star online reviews. Visit HendrickCars.com.
This is what we do. We maintain and we obsess. It's hours in the garage and days slipping by. Trusting Pennzoil to protect what matters most. Taking care of the things we love. It sounds obvious. When you do it right, you're protecting an engine for its lifetime. So look under the hood. You'll see what drives us.
Engine protection for the lifetime of your vehicle. Pennzoil. Long may we drive.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
How many times have you wondered what would happen if you took the 12 finest race drivers in the world and put them in the same kind of an automobile and put them on a racetrack together? The International Race of Champions.
The IROC brand has been revived by Rob Kaufman and Ray Evernham, and today, for the first time ever, every generation of IROC car is represented, and a star-studded cast of drivers are here in exhibition.
It's like a big family reunion meets racing.
One thing I always wanted to be in was IROC. It was something that I always wanted to be a part of.
Always loved, being a part of it when I was in it.
I wanted to win IROC just as bad as I wanted to win the 500. and join the family.
It was such an incredible honor to be invited. It was so elite because it was only 12. It was epic. I mean, our racing was epic.
It brings back so many memories.
Drivers, I've been following them since I was 5, so it's been a lot of fun.
Rob and some of his friends got together and helped really get the IROC brand back. This many people show up, and the response that the fans have given us really gives me a lot more motivation to try and continue to bring this back, do more IROC, and do more with it.
The most unique automobile racing series ever.
Man, how fun to see the sportscasting legend Keith Jackson and the introduction to that very first IROC race at Riverside, California. That was October 27th, 1973. And from that day, the premise of matching up 12 great drivers from all different forms of motorsports in equally prepared cars carried on for 30 years, the final IROC race happening in 2006. Now, only 12 drivers got invited each season. So think about this. Of 40 drivers starting the Daytona 500, 4 would get invited to IROC. Of 33 drivers starting the Indianapolis 500, 4 might get invited to IROC, as well as the top sports car racing drivers around the world, Formula One drivers as well. It was a pretty exclusive club to get into, and a club that the drivers very much enjoyed belonging to.
Just listening to the drivers say what it meant to them, IROC, it was a badge of honor to be invited. And then to get an IROC trophy. If you won an IROC race, you beat the best of the world. It was an honor just to be invited to that high of an all-star program in motorsports. And then so many of these guys had never even met one another, let alone got to race with one another. When you've got, guys like Fittipaldi going that head-to-head with Earnhardt and Yarborough and the stories that they tell, because they drove different, like Earnhardt had no problem running up alongside of somebody, and you got an IndyCar guy that's used to, they got to keep distance, and, here he is knocking him out of the way, and then the sports car guys and the guys that fit. Listen to Al Unser Jr. talk about how he had to really learn and watch Earnhardt, and how he had to change his style. And then you got the old guys, kind of like Bobby Unser and Al Unser, that used to just mess with people all the time. I think anybody that's ever followed any kind of sport, played any kind of sport, whether that's stick and ball, whether it's racing, running, Olympics, you look back through history, boxing, and say, you just want to know who's the best. Could that guy have beaten this guy? Could that girl have done that? To take the best of the best to put them together. I mean, right, that's really the ultimate challenge, isn't it? To find out who was really the best of all time. And it's really, really hard to prove, but it's a lot of fun trying to figure it out.
Well, it really did mean a ton to drivers to get that invitation to compete in the International Race of Champions. And one of the drivers who competed in IROC and was its champion, the IROC Series, as well as a NASCAR Cup Series champion and a NASCAR Hall of Famer, joins me now, Kurt Busch. When you got the call the first time to go race in IROC, what was that like?
It was like, oh, wait a minute, I have enough credentials? Like, what does it take? I really didn't even know the criteria on how you would rank and to get the invite. And I finished third in points in 2002 in Cup, and that was enough of the criteria met to get into the IROC Series. I was just blown away. Like, my first race was in Daytona, and there I am with all of the legends and open wheel guys, and Steve Kinzer from World of Outlaw was there that year. It was so cool to be in that fraternity.
One of the things, and there are different things we all remember about events in the past, right? You were just talking about walking down the pit lane with everybody with their bag over their shoulder.
Yeah, it was raw. Like, you didn't have spotters. You were in charge of your own gear. There was no practice. It was like you just jump in cold turkey, and now you're like trying to figure out the draft. Daytona and then Talladega. And then the third race of the year in 2003 was the old Chicagoland Speedway. Yeah, I think the NASCAR guys had a little bit of the advantage over the years because most of the weekends were at our conjunction of a NASCAR event. But then just to get the invite after I won the Cup Championship to come back, and then in 2005, to run again, it's a shame. Like, the series kind of fizzled out, but things do run its course in time. But just to look back at the history of this sport, I'm pinching myself, and it was just so cool to see all the colors out there on track here at 10/10.
So one of the traditions that kind of became tradition in IROC is when you won the championship, you got to keep the car.
Oh, yeah.
So you have a beautiful, I'll call it grape purple, whatever you want to call it, IROC machine that you're wheeling today. That's yours.
Yep, that's 2003. The IROC car I had at Indianapolis. So I finished 4th that day, which was good enough to win the championship over Mark Martin, a 5-time champion. And the Signori family gifted me the car. And then the coolest thing, like, they handed me this check that I didn't have to share with the team owner. I'm like, what are all these zeros doing on here? Like, and it was cool. Like, the whole experience, and to race in a league with all of these true professionals, you feel it out on track. You feel those moments of, like Castro Neves, a Brazilian, he has his attitude, you know, or this dirt racer or a drag racer. You know, I think Ron Capps ran for a few years. It's just really cool to be out there on the track at the same time with so many legends.
So now let's spin it forward. Here we are in 2026 at 1010's Motor Club and the Heritage Invitational, and IROC is back. This time in memory form, if you will, in a vintage racing form, and an appreciation for these cars and what they were and what the competition meant. You're looking out there. You just finished signing autographs. It's a sold-out crowd today. You're out on the track. You've already done practice. Won the pole, by the way, for this thing this afternoon in qualifying. What's it like to be part of this now 20 years later?
I mean, here we are at 10/10 in the professional country club atmosphere that this track has. I mean, and it's right here in the shadows of Charlotte Motor Speedway. And to see all of our fans pour in, and it is insane on just the amount of people, but everyone's so polite. Everyone's excited to see vintage Indy cars. And then with the concourse tomorrow and all of the different eras of regular street cars, whether they're exotics, Duesenbergs, or even muscle cars from the 70s. This is pure car culture at its finest, and just hanging in the paddock with all the racing legends, and then seeing some of the cool Indy cars and how how you have to build those pieces by hand still. That was like the coolest part of today, just hearing those cars fire up.
So you're still involved in current Cup Series racing, 2311 racing, and involved in the sport today, but you're out there in line with these autographs. What's the question fans ask you about the most, today or back in the day?
You know, everyone just misses me out on the track.
Yeah.
You know, and I remind them that I had 23 years at the NASCAR Cup level, and kind of puts people on their heels a little bit, like, wow, time flew. And so I really appreciate it, though, from the fans. Genuinely, like, it's neat to feel that energy from them on we miss you. But, of course, times change, things have happened, and I'm excited, though. I feel the adrenaline of firing up my IROC car today against Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte, Mark Martin, Schrader, Tommy Kindle, and one of my favorites. I mean, I'm not geeking out, but Scott Pruitt's one of my favorites.
Yeah, and I think one of the fun parts for me about just wandering around this morning before we came in here to sit down is the vibe. There's no pressure of having your Cup car sitting in the other garage. Everybody's just having a good time here, telling old stories, having fun. Dinner last night raised $300,000 for charity. Just the vibe of the weekend is a lot of fun, really enjoyable.
Yeah, it is. And you have, again, like so many different eras of cars, but then you have so many generations of fans, whether it's a father-son or it's a group of kids that came in on one of their field trips. Like, it's just so neat to see the field all the way around. And then yet, like, the big races haven't even happened yet. And then tonight is a Pro-Am. I signed up for a Pro-Am, and people donated over tens of thousands to race with all of us.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun to see you. It's a lot of fun to see you climb back aboard that machine. He's on the pole for the IROC race later this afternoon. With
My
Jeff.
car was really good downhill, I think.
Yeah. There you go. Jeff Gordon's alongside him. Kurt Busch, thanks for being part of this weekend, and thanks for coming in to share some thoughts on it.
Of course, Alan. Thank you. Appreciate it.
The Hall of Famer, Kurt Busch, who will lead the IROC field to the green flag here in a little while. He'll be headed out right behind us on the main straightaway here at 1010's Motor Club, where they're beginning to grid the cars and get ready for driver introductions. We're going to have IROC cars taking a green flag in Charlotte. How much fun is that?
I can remember standing on pit road when the IROC events happened when I was first trying to drive at Daytona, and I'm thinking, God, it'd be so neat to be in that series. And, kind of watched it, and you were wishing, I was running a car, and my dad was own the car, and we were trying to race and trying to make the Daytona 500 and do all this stuff. And here you was watching those guys run around like Cale and Richard and AJ and Mario and all those guys, and like, man, this is neat. It'd be cool to be in it. And I was very thankful to be a part of it at least one point in time in my career.
The name you know and trust is Hendrick, representing 26 top automotive brands with over 30,000 vehicles available. New, pre-owned, hybrids, EVs, and the most popular luxury cars and SUVs. You'll enjoy a world-class shopping and service experience. That's why Hendrick is the #1 rated dealer group in the nation for online reputation, with over 900,000 five-star online reviews. Visit HendrickCars.com.
This is what we do. We maintain and we obsess. It's hours in the garage and days slipping by. Trusting Pennzoil to protect what matters most. Taking care of the things we love. It sounds obvious. When you do it right, you're protecting an engine for its lifetime. So look under the hood. You'll see what drives us.
Engine protection for the lifetime of your vehicle. Pennzoil. Long may we drive.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
Hi, I'm Jeff Gordon, and you're watching the 2026 Heritage Invitational on Racing America.
Well, Jeff Gordon will be one of those drivers climbing aboard these beautiful IROC machines here at 1010's Motor Club as part of the Heritage Invitational. As our main event of the afternoon, later on tonight, starting at 7:15 Eastern Time here on Racing America, we've got the Pro-Am, where 10 of the pros that are in the IROC competition today are matched up with an amateur driver, and they're going to go racing in identically prepared cars, not the classic IROC cars. That's at 7:15 tonight here on Racing America and wherever you're watching us now. But they're forming the grid along the main straightaway. Drivers will be making their way down, and we'll have driver introductions shortly. So we've got 18 cars on the grid for today's IROC race. There are 7 generations of IROC machines, from the Porsches used in that very first season back in 1973 all the way up to the Firebirds that were the last cars used for 11 seasons from 1996 to 2006. The predominant number of cars are the later generation Firebirds, but we've got some of the 3 generations of Camaros out there. We've got some of the 2 Dodge generations, Avengers and Daytonas, and we've got a great variety of drivers from all of those generations of IROC, plus some of the gentleman racers, the vintage racers who collect these cars and compete with them as well at different places around. So getting the field of cars set for the driver introductions here, that will begin in just a little bit. You look at some of these beautiful cars and think about that some of these race cars, a couple of them actually that are out on the grid now, they lived as 3 different types of machines. The chassis itself started as a Camaro, then went through the Dodge years, then ended up in the Firebird livery. You see some of the different paint schemes, the way IROC evolved over the years, from the very basic one color. How many different colors can we get on the 12 different cars? That's the oldest machine that'll compete in our afternoon competition. That car that says Niki Lauda on it, that is a 1977 IROC Camaro, followed by some of the Dodges that are in line there. So the 7 different generations of IROC machines. There's one here on display. The only thing we won't see on track this afternoon is one of the original Porsches that competed in that first 1973-74 season. But other than that, just about everything else in the IROC 30-year lineage is represented here on the grid as these cars get staged and ready to go. Now, this one will be an announcer's challenge. There are actually a couple of those lime green Mark Martin cars that both say Martin on the side. and a few other machines that appear very similar. But there's that beautiful 1978 Camaro with the number 2. Justin Bell, who's going to join us to host the Concord Elegance tomorrow. He's going to drive that machine here in competition this afternoon. You got that bright red number 1. That has Earnhardt on the side. More on that as the race unfolds. The red and black car, that's Bobby Labonte, the car he won the IROC championship in. And down on the grid, Amanda Busick is ready to take us through pre-race.
Hey, Alan, yeah, you're going to see some of these cars behind me start getting parked. You're going to see on the front row here right behind me that Kurt Busch and Jeff Gordon car as we get ready for the race here today. But these drivers, all is not lost between these drivers. I can't wait, Alan.
Going to be a lot of fun. Certainly a lot of energy up here on the clubhouse level, and we can't wait to see the green flag wave over these cars and hear the ovation that they get when the drivers are introduced in just a little while. So 30 years of IROC racing, 7 generations of cars, legends of racing from all different forms of motorsports, how it all came to be when it all started back in 1973, detailed for us now.
The history on forming the IROC series, cool story, but Roger Penske was talking to a TV exec, and he's like, why isn't racing really kind of popular? You know, like what's going on? How do we grow it? And that gentleman's name was Mike Phelps. And he said, look, it's got to have some, contest, something other than cars just going around. So Roger Penske and Mike Phelps came up with this idea of taking the best drivers from NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One, road racing, and putting them in identically prepared cars and finding out who just had the best skill. So they went to Porsche, I believe, in 1973, and got Porsche to build them 15 identical little Porsche RSRs. When you put a series like IROC together, it's important that you try and keep things neutral to a point, because you look at how good, let's say, Lewis Hamilton is in a Formula One car. He may not have a lot of experience on ovals or, hand shifting anymore, or brakes and things like that. And then, you put him up against a guy like Kyle Larson, who is just incredible in anything that he sits in. You've got to make that playing field fair. So having a car running on racetracks that are kind of a combination of what each person is used to, which is why I like trying to figure out things on road courses or possibly on dirt tracks where driver's skill is a little bit more of a factor than on the oval. So it's important considering the machine when you want to put the drivers together to figure out who's got the highest level of talent.
Well, where it's been over 30 years of competition and the last couple of years, and maybe a touch on where it might be going in the future. The International Race of Champions, center stage on this Friday at the Heritage Invitational at 1010 Motor Club in Concord, North Carolina. In just a moment, the pre-race festivities are going to get underway, driver introductions and so on, before we turn these cars loose for their session on the track today. Who's going to win? Well, as old Benny Parsons used to say, that's the fun in finding out. We'll find out as we continue from 1010 Motor Club in Charlotte at the Heritage Invitational on Racing America.
I got fortunate to get that invite and be a part of IROC with my own career, and just amazing, and every time we'd line up and take the green, you just can't believe the names that you're seeing on the cars and who you're racing against.
The fact that it's respected and the competitors show up with that desire to win, whether it's just a trophy or it's a check, you're there to beat those other competitors because you want to gauge yourself against the best of the best in equal cars.
When you got invited, it's to beat these guys, and some of them were unbeatable, but to race against them just meant a lot, and makes you proud to be able to say that you did it.
The name you know and trust is Hendrick, representing 26 top automotive brands with over 30,000 vehicles available. New, pre-owned, hybrids, EVs, and the most popular luxury cars and SUVs. You'll enjoy a world-class shopping and service experience. That's why Hendrick is the #1 rated dealer group in the nation for online reputation, with over 900,000 5-star online reviews. Visit HendrickCars.com.
This is what we do. We maintain and we obsess. It's hours in the garage and days slipping by. Trusting Pennzoil to protect what matters most. Taking care of the things we love. It sounds obvious. When you do it right, you're protecting an engine for its lifetime. So look under the hood. You'll see what drives us.
Engine protection for the lifetime of your vehicle. Pennzoil. Long may we drive.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere, on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
To me, it's just a point of bringing a lot of guys from a lot of the other racing series together. That was the key part of what IROC was all about.
It's awesome to see it coming back and to be a part of it. You drive equally prepared cars, you know, and it's like, okay. And so that matches you up with the best of the best.
When you really get down to it, the credentials and the championships that you see take the green flag at IROC events, it can blow your mind.
The legends, the history, the fun over the years for these people from different forms of racing to get the chance to compete against each other. That's the International Race of Champions, and its 30-year history celebrated this weekend as part of the Heritage Invitational here at 1010's Motor Club in Concord, North Carolina. Field of cars gridded. See a lot of the fans that are here for this sold-out crowd today down milling about on the open grid. And very soon, we'll have driver introductions and getting the driver strapped aboard and ready to go. Now, we've got some of the legends of racing that are behind the wheel in this. We've also got some other legends in various forms of industry that are behind the wheel, whose passion for racing and for these race cars always shows through when we talk to them. And Amanda's standing by with one of those.
Well, Alan, what I absolutely love is Scott Borchetta. Just heard everything that you said about him. So awesome. Welcome there. But just another announcement to the fans. If you're watching up there at the 1010's Motor Club, you guys can come down here with us. So go right or go left and come hang out with us. The drivers are going to be down here like Scott is. I was going to place you for this interview in front of your car. What's going on?
Well, as we were gridding the car, we had a clutch issue. So the boys are in the pits right now, in the garage, fixing the clutch. We'll be able to race, but we didn't have the car out here for all the fans to see. But it's a great car. So many amazing drivers drove it. You heard Jeff Gordon talking about this earlier. These cars come with a diary of everybody who ever drove them. Cale Yarbrough, Al Unser Jr., Mario Andretti. Every great driver has driven one of these cars.
I love that we can just so casually say Jeff Gordon's name today, right? Like just hanging out with everyone here, including these fans. We were just talking about the ambiance here off camera. What's the feeling as a driver as we get going for this?
Well, for me, being such a big fan, and I'm friends with a lot of the drivers, but I never take it for granted. It's like, hi, Jeff Gordon, and hi, Kurt Busch, and hi, Bobby Labonte, and hi, Bill Elliott. It's really incredible, and they're wonderful guys. I love my race family. They're great people, and as everybody knows, they're so approachable, and they're happy to say hello and take a photo, and it's a beautiful day here. So I don't know that Ray Evernham and everybody could have had a better day to make a incredible presentation here at 1010's.
Well, I know we have our audience here watching, but we also have an audience streaming around the world on YouTube and our FAST channel and RacingAmerica.tv. But you're qualified 8th. You told me your plan is to go forward. What are the opportunities here at the 1010's Motor Club as we get familiar with this track?
Well, as a racetrack, it's really tight, so you got to be really careful about where you're going to pass. And again, this is for fun. You know, we have to remind ourselves, we're not going to break a track record today. We're not going to win the Daytona 500 today. It's about putting on a show and having these great old cars on track. But the other thing that happens is every time we say that, then you strap the helmet on and then it's on. But we want to make sure that we put on a great show for everybody today.
We were just talking off camera also about your upcoming season. What's Scott Borchetta up to when a helmet's not on?
Well, Big Machine Records, we had a great day yesterday. We had 7 ACM Award nominations: Riley Green, Rascal Flatts, Caroline Jones, Mackenzie Carpenter. So as we get into part of our award season coming up here in Las Vegas, Riley Green is going to have a great evening in Las Vegas. And then we get into CMA Music Fest in June in Nashville. And Riley is going to be the host of all 3 days. And Carly Pierce, the band Perry, Jack Wharf Band, so many of our artists represented. So, yeah, it's great to come and hang with my friends at the racetrack, but the real business of country music is red hot.
Business never stops, Alan. But just for a little bit, we're going to put a helmet on.
Yeah, I get a break today. I'm like, leave me alone for the afternoon, and we'll get back to everything on Monday.
Enjoy it.
Thanks, Amanda.
Some people play golf. Scott Borchetta climbs into a race car on the weekend. But yes, big day for the Big Machine Label Group, and congratulations to Scott, all the incredible artists on their nominations from the Academy of Country Music. So looking down trackside at that beautiful field of cars that are all gathered in, you could pick any one of them, as Scott mentioned, and they've got an incredibly detailed story behind them. One of the team owners showed me the history sheet on his car, Christopher Evans, who's driving one of those orange and white cars toward the back of that line of cars we were looking at as Tommy Dreese makes his way toward the grid. He showed me the complete history sheet that comes with each one of these cars. And when you stop and you think about the people that drove them and where they raced them, it's just absolutely fascinating that they've been able to reconstruct so much of the history of these machines, and that's what makes it fun for people to show you. Here it is. The Christopher Evans car, the sheet that he showed me, his car was raced by Max Pappas twice. Elio Castroneves drove it. Sam Hornish Jr. drove it twice. And Mark Martin drove it twice. And here he is out here at 1010's Motor Club racing with some of those drivers themselves this afternoon. And what a thrill that must be for Evans out of Pennsylvania. Looking down at some of the other cars on the field, we've got Scott Pruitt there in a machine that he raced in IROC competition, that Aqua machine that's in the middle of the grid. Kurt Busch in that purple machine he talked with us about a little while ago. On the pole for this race, Jeff Gordon in that silver car, second in line on the right side of your screen. That's Gordon's car, and one that Rick Hendrick owns as part of his collection. And Gordon will drive that number 6 machine in competition. Bobby Labonte, that red and black car, third in line. That's the car that Bobby won the IROC championship in. When he won the series in 2001, and that car with a whole history all its own. It's find it in my notes here. That's the car that he won in the finale at Indianapolis, and the story on that day was that Bobby entered the race with a 1-point lead over Indy 500 winner Kenny Brack at Indianapolis. He started last in the 11-car field. He got to the front to race Tony Stewart for the win, and eventually got away from Tony in the closing laps to clinch the victory in the championship. So together with Bobby and his brother Terry, they became the second set of brothers to both win the IROC title. Can you guess the others? Their last names were Unser. Bobby and Al Unser were the other set of brothers to win IROC championships together. There's that car that Bobby owns, again, because he won the championship. Now he'll be wheeling that here from third on the starting grid in just a little while. So let's hear from some of the drivers on what it means to them to have run in the International Race of Champions over the years as they get ready to take part in our IROC exhibition today.
Just listening to the drivers say what it meant to them, IROC, it was a badge of honor to be invited. And then to get an IROC trophy. If you won an IROC race, you beat the best of the world. was an honor just to be invited to that high of an all-star program in motorsports. And then so many of these guys had never even met one another, let alone got to race with one another. When you've got, you know, guys like Fittipaldi going head-to-head with Earnhardt and Yarborough, and the stories that they tell, because they drove different, you know, like Earnhardt had no problem running up alongside of somebody, and you got an IndyCar guy that's used to, you know, they got to keep distance, and, you know, here he is knocking them out of the way, and then the sports car guys and the guys that fit. Listen to Al Unser Jr. talk about how he had to really learn and watch Earnhardt, and how he had to change his style. And then you got the old guys, you know, kind of like Bobby Unser and Al Unser, that used to just mess with people all the time. I think anybody that's ever followed any kind of sport, played any kind of sport, whether that's stick and ball, whether it's racing, running, Olympics, you look back through history, boxing, and say, you just want to know who's the best. Could that guy have beaten this guy? Could that girl have done that? To, you know, to take the best of the best to put them together. I mean, right, that's really the ultimate challenge, isn't it? To find out who was really the best of all time. And it's really, really hard to prove, but it's a lot of fun trying to figure it out.
Well, nobody had more success in IROC competition over the years in terms of wins or championships than a driver who's with us today and standing by with Amanda.
Hear you talking about him, and we were just talking about that off camera, how synonymous Mark Martin is with IROC racing. And I don't want to put you on the spot here, but can you even pick a favorite moment of your career in series?
I think that probably winning the Richmond race with Kurt Busch, and I was on the outside for a couple restarts. And, you know, in my book, Kurt Busch is one of the best wheelmen in the world. And we raced side by side, lap after lap after lap, and I beat him to the line by about a foot. And I don't think we put a scratch on the race cars. It's just respect.
You own that race car that is behind us. What do you think about when you look at her?
Well, it's 30 years old, and I got it in '95 right after the season, and I put it in the car dealership, and I didn't ever even look at it. And so when they revived this IROC thing a year and a half ago, I called the dealership and said, go out there and lift the hood and see if there's a motor in that. And they said, yes. So there she is. I mean, it's 30 years old and hadn't been freshened or anything. Still runs just like it did in 1995.
Alan, I wish you could see all the fans that are around us watching this interview. But from a show of hands, who follows Mark Martin on Twitter? See, I told him how famous he is on Twitter. I feel like you're really coming out of your shell, letting this personality out. How does it feel?
It feels great. You know, I always kept it inside before because I could get fired. But now I can't get fired. So I'm the fans. I'm a race fan. I'm one of you guys. So I want to share that on Twitter, and we have a blast on there. So jump on board.
At the charity event last night, we had an open seat in the Pro-Am event that we're going to see tonight. And the audience had the opportunity to bid on a driver. The winner of the bid chose Mark Martin for $100,000. Rank that moment in your life.
I was almost embarrassed, you know. It's like, wow, I can't believe it. It's quite an opportunity, and I really look forward to it. It's a Pro-Am after the IROC race here, and it's going to be really interesting and raise so much money for charity, you know, Speedway Children's Charity. It was a great event, and I want to thank everybody from, you know, Marcus Smith to Mr. Hendrick to Ray Evernham and everyone that's put so much work into this event. It absolutely blows me away. And then all the fans that have come out. It's sold out today, and it's just a great event, a great venue.
One of those fans that come out today is my buddy over here, James. He's been following us around. I just want to show you the access you can get here. Who's your favorite driver?
Mark Martin.
Go shake his hand. There you go, Alan.
Making memories at the Heritage Invitational. Mark Martin, thank you, Mark. The all-time leader in wins and 5-time IROC champion in the field today as we celebrate the automobile and automobile racing at the Heritage Invitational at 1010's Motor Club, closing in on pre-race ceremonies and the start of our IROC competition today here in North Carolina.
People are interested. There's a younger group of people coming up now that maybe aren't as interested in all the rules and the infractions and this and that, and trying to understand, well, this guy's car does this and he only does this. And if we were able to take that and focus on the personalities, on really tell the story of these guys and girls and put them in equally prepared cars, so you take the car out of it. So you're not saying, okay, he runs on this tire, or she runs on this downforce. There's no penalties. All the cars are prepared by us. It's purely driver against driver. It's purely about talent, and then tell the story of those personalities. Draw people in so they understand what Max Verstappen does. What does Kyle Larson really do? Who's William Byron? Getting those stories out and taking that car out of it and truly making it an equal car. Unfortunately for IROC, they kind of progressed to an area where the stock car guys had an advantage. And that was a mistake. Our design and whatnot for a new car would be a car that would be very neutral. There'd be nothing else like it on the planet. So Formula One couldn't have an advantage, sports car couldn't have an advantage, stock car wouldn't have an advantage, Indy car wouldn't have an advantage. It'd be a combination of all those things. Focusing on the all-stars, superstars, on tracks and with equipment that didn't favor anybody.
The name you know and trust is Hendrick, representing 26 top automotive brands with over 30,000 vehicles available. New, pre-owned, hybrids, EVs, and the most popular luxury cars and SUVs. You'll enjoy a world-class shopping and service experience. That's why Hendrick is the #1 rated dealer group in the nation for online reputation, with over 900,000 5-star online reviews. Visit HendrickCars.com.
This is what we do. We maintain and we obsess. It's hours in the garage and days slipping by. Trusting Pennzoil to protect what matters most. Taking care of the things we love. It sounds obvious. When you do it right, you're protecting an engine for its lifetime. So look under the hood. You'll see what drives us.
Engine protection for the lifetime of your vehicle. Pennzoil. Long may we drive.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
If you came to watch our IROC program here at 1010's, you could see the 7 generations of IROC cars. We're expecting a Porsche to show up. There were 3 generations of Camaros. We had Dodges, Avengers, and Daytonas, Firebirds. And again, you've got guys like Jeff Gordon, Kurt Busch, Bobby Labonte, Mark Martin, Tommy Kendall, Scott Pruitt. Some of the original guys that actually drove IROC cars are coming back to compete against one another. You can't just sometimes go and compete with your favorite football player or your favorite baseball player. Here in IROC, we've got some collectors that are going to compete on racetrack with some legendary drivers.
And there they are, the collectors and the drivers from IROC history all gathered along the main straightaway as we come to you from 1010's Motor Club. So we're a multi-purpose broadcast here. I know all the folks down on the grid can hear me. For all the fans that are down on the grid, it's time to start clearing the grid. We need to get ready for firing up these race cars and beginning our IROC competition today. So if you are the fans down on the grid during enjoying the grid walk, hope you've enjoyed it. We do ask you to start making your way back to the spectator area and the clubhouse area so we can get the track ready for green flag racing here in just a little bit. Thank you for your cooperation. I appreciate it. I could see you moving out the window. And for those of you watching on Racing America, on Racing America's YouTube site, wherever you might be watching us, the Racing America channels, we're glad you've joined us today for the first of 2 days of action from here at the Heritage Invitational. Tonight we have the Pro-Am, the IROC Pro-Am, with 10 of the professional drivers matched up with 10 amateurs in a time trial autocross style competition. That comes up at 7:15 tonight here where you're watching us now. And then tomorrow here on Racing America, starting at 12 noon Eastern Time, the Concours d'Elegance will be here as over 120 beautiful, amazing cars in various categories go through their judging process, and we'll be here for the award ceremony and that all-important Best of Show designation. That is tomorrow. Many of these race cars will participate in the Heritage Invitational Concours d'Elegance, what they use to set it apart from other similar shows of its type. And I've seen the catalog of vehicles for tomorrow. Man, it's going to be a day to walk around these beautiful grounds and just enjoy some spectacular machinery from many periods of automotive history. So we thank you for those of you down on the grid for beginning to clear the way so we can get our driver introductions and our IROC competition going this afternoon. If you're watching on Racing America and aren't able to be with us here at the facility today, boy, you're missing out. What a beautiful place this 1010's Motor Club is. First time here for me, and just thoroughly impressed by the detail in everything. And these race cars, boy, what a field we've got. Look at these cars from 30 years of IROC competition and the field of drivers that we've got assembled ready to go here. It's truly a special day. The vibe is phenomenal. The weather's perfect, and we look forward to seeing how it all turns out as our afternoon of action continues to unfold. A look inside Bill Elliott's machine. Elliott, the celebrant of the Heritage Invitational, the NASCAR Hall of Famer, who competed in IROC over 6 different seasons. His Daytona 500 winning car, the car that set that all-time qualifying record of 212 miles an hour at Talladega, that's on display here as part of the collection of vehicles you could see this weekend at the Heritage Invitational. But there is a look inside Bill Elliott's IROC machine that he'll wheel this afternoon. A 1995 Dodge Avenger. All right, we're ready for today's opening ceremony. Let's go trackside to Amanda Busick.
Hey, Al. Keeps getting more real and real down here as we get ready for this IROC race here at the 1010's Motor Club. It is time for driver intros. In 17th from Indiana, Pennsylvania, Christopher Evans. Driver starting in 14th, he epitomizes Midwest nice from Missouri, Mr. Ken Schrader. In 13th, he was just pulled into action here this weekend. He will be the co-host on the Concours event tomorrow, Justin Bell. And in 12th position, one of the guys that allows this event to happen here this weekend. Welcome to the race, Mr. Rob Kaufman. Racing in 11th out of Salinas, California, Ross Merrill. On the 5th row, starting in 10th, from Ohio, Mike Slutz. He is a two-time Daytona Series winner in IROC. And our celebratant this weekend, Bill Elliott. Racing in 8th. We're hoping that car has made it out there for him to take to this track here today, Scott Borchetta. In 7th, I talked to him earlier ahead of this race. He said he wanted to keep this race car vintage. Didn't even bring his own steering wheel, Mr. Max Pappas. And in 6th, made some crucial adjustments to his race car. Wanted a track bar adjustment, a word that he had just heard here this weekend. Not a NASCAR guy, Tommy Dreese. And in 5th, showing some speed around this place, racing in that iconic Earnhardt car, Tommy Kendall. With 2 wins in the series, including at Daytona, starting in 4th, Scott Pruitt. Three career wins in IROC, racing in 3rd, Bobby Labonte. And as we move to the front row, racing in that P2 position, he won in this very race car in 1998 at Daytona, Jeff Gordon. And he put it on pole here today, your 2003 Talladega IROC winner, Kurt Busch.
All right, so the class photo is ongoing, and our drivers beginning now to get buckled in and get ready for competition here at 10 Tenths Motor Club. IROC, powered by Pennzoil, getting ready to go as our 1.7-mile, 19-turn 10 Tenths Motor Club course awaits these drivers here in just a couple of minutes. All right, so while the drivers get buckled in on Racing America, we'll take a break and get set to come back to 10 Tenths Motor Club for the command to start engines, the green flag, and the beginning of our IROC competition as part of the Heritage Invitational. We're going racing next on a beautiful Friday afternoon here in Concord, North Carolina.
The name you know and trust is Hendrick, representing 26 top automotive brands with over 30,000 vehicles available. New, pre-owned, hybrids, EVs, and the most popular luxury cars and SUVs. You'll enjoy a world-class shopping and service experience. That's why Hendrick is the #1 rated dealer group in the nation for online reputation, with over 900,000 5-star online reviews. Visit HendrickCars.com.
This is what we do. We maintain and we obsess. It's hours in the garage and days slipping by. Trusting Pennzoil to protect what matters most. Taking care of the things we love. It sounds obvious. When you do it right, you're protecting an engine for its lifetime. So look under the hood. You'll see what drives us.
Engine protection for the lifetime of your vehicle. Pennzoil. Long may we drive.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
To get racing activities started here for IROC with kicking off our invocation, Evan Albertine.
Pray. Father, we do thank you for a gorgeous day. Your word says that you've given us all things to enjoy. And today we're here gathered to enjoy some racing under some sunny skies and beautiful Carolina weather. We thank you for it. We ask that you keep the drivers safe and everybody safe today, and we thank you for it all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Evan. And as everyone can, if you can stand and remove your hats, please, for our national anthem, please welcome to the stage Miss Persona Bell.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed as the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare
rendition of our national anthem and a flyover to boot here at 1010's Motor Club. That means it's almost ready to go racing. Alan, I see 18 race cars. I see 18 drivers that are strapping in to these incredible beasts of horsepower as we get set for racing here at the 1010's Motor Club.
All right, Amanda, thanks. So we're just a few moments away from getting things started here. As the drivers get cinched aboard, they'll be moving the pre-race stage here and getting the track all lined up and ready to go. When it is time for the command to start engines, familiar face to those who followed IROC competition over the years, and especially those who were in IROC competition over the years, is going to be our Grand Marshal today, Dave Marcus, who was legendary as a NASCAR competitor for so many years, but also as one of the 3 primary test drivers for IROC. In fact, he is standing by down trackside now. Let's go back to Amanda.
Our Mr. Master of Parody, and we were walking over to the grid just a little bit ago, and we were just talking about how much fun you had in your life during this time. What's it like being back and seeing this?
It's a very nice, very enjoyable day, and I'd like to welcome all the race fans that are here to enjoy this IROC series, and beautiful weather God has given us for today, so I hope everybody has a great time.
There's a lot of series across the world now that try to capture that balance of performance that you were so great at. What all goes into finding that secret formula?
Well, I guess just time and experience, and we worked with many, many different drivers, the Formula One cars, the World of Outlaws, ARCA, trucks, the NASCAR Cup Series guys, and just working with all the different guys that really weren't stock car guys, trying to get them to adjust to the draft, the side-by-side racing, the close nose to tail. Some of them weren't just not used to that. So it was very enjoyable.
Well, I don't want to put you on the spot here, but since we have all these fans here, who was your favorite driver?
Well, I had a lot of them. I got along with Dale Earnhardt great, Richard Petty, David Pearson, Bobby Isaac, Bobby Allison, pretty much everybody.
We're going to point back up to the sky real quick for another flyover. That moment never gets old at motorsports events.
That's very interesting. Every time I see it, I enjoy it.
Well, we thank you for hanging out with us here today. I think we're going to get the count to drivers start your engines here shortly. Did you think about this moment before we got to it?
Not really.
A true legend, Alan. When I get the cue down here, we'll be ready to go, Dave.
Okay.
All right. Great to hear from Dave Marcus, one of the 3 primary test drivers, along with Dick Trickle and Jim Sauter for IROC over the years. Put in thousands of miles getting those 12 cars ready for the drivers to go in competition. And great to have Dave here today. Got a chance to talk with him earlier, and just always a delight to be around. How about this flyover? Good stuff. So down trackside, checking in with all of the 18 drivers to make sure they're ready for competition. And I believe that signal has just been received, and we should be just about set for getting things underway. So watching down on the grid as these drivers get ready to go for what's about a 25-minute race. We expect 12 to 15 laps of competition here in our IROC Series event as part of the Heritage Invitational in North Carolina today. Let's go back trackside to get things going.
Race car drivers, start your IROC race car engines, and let's have a good, safe race for these race fans. Thank you.
Dave Marcus, IROC legend himself. All right, so engines have fired, and we're getting ready to go. 18 drivers down on the grid. They had a qualifying session earlier today. Broke the field up in half and into two different sessions. And when things were all said and done, it was Kurt Busch who set fast time. He'll lead this field off in a minute. You see the various mechanics assigned to the cars raising their hands, indicating their car is fired, their driver's ready to go. A look from Jeff Gordon's machine, lined up in second position. Bill Elliott. Bill lined up in, ironically, 9th on the grid, the number he made famous for so many years. Mark Martin, the all-time leader in IROC wins and championships, carrying an onboard camera for us today. Mark starting back 15th in the field. And there's your pole sitter, Kurt Busch, driving that purple car, number 1, our 2003 IROC champion and a NASCAR Hall of Famer from back in January when he was inducted. We are waiting for the signal for the field to roll. You get a good look at the different generations of cars, different body styles, different sponsorships over the years. And here they go. Breaking the line to get the Scott Borchetta car back in its grid position. Good work by Scott and his people, along with the IROC folks, to get that machine back prepared, that bright yellow number 2 machine. Scott talked about that being a clutch problem, so that's probably why he's just wanting to keep moving there and not to stop the car back in the spotted line till the rest of the traffic gets going. So they're all away and getting ready for the first of 2 pace laps before the green flag in our competition this afternoon. Look at the car assignments. You'll see a lot of car numbers 1 differentiated by different letters, the different liveries that drivers have taken over the years for being IROC champion. So Kurt Busch and Jeff Gordon make up the front row. Bobby Labonte and Scott Pruitt there in row number 2. Pruitt in the aqua car. Row number 3 is Tom Kendall, sports car racing champion, alongside Tommy Dreesy from the Trans Am Series, our 2009 Trans Am champion. In row number 4, it's Max Pappas and Scott Borchetta with Bill Elliott in row number 5, along with Mike Slutz. Borchetta in that yellow machine, followed by Elliott and Slutz. Then next back in line, you've got Ross Merrill starting in the 11th spot. Rob Kaufman is 12th. In the 13th row, Justin Bell, a late add to the field, alongside Ken Schrader. 15th and 16th, Mark Martin is lined up alongside David Roberts. And back in row number 9, in the 17th and 18th spots, it's Christopher Evans alongside of Alan Davison. All of those drivers, whose names you might not be as familiar with as others, have experience in vintage racing and stock car vintage racing competition, and all have chosen to add an IROC machine to their collection, and it's how they got the invitation to come and compete here as part of our Heritage Invitational here this weekend. And a look at the beautiful 10/10 Motor Club course. It's 1.7 miles around, 19 turns. What a picturesque setting. And you'll see it's almost non-stop elevation change. Up and down and up and down and twisting and turning. What a beautiful spot. And all of the drivers saying what a fun challenge it is in these International Race of Champions machines as well. There are stories that are attached to every one of these drivers and every one of these cars as the field comes past the clubhouse for the first time and gets the 1-to-go signal. Next time by, they'll go racing. A lot of cameras out. What a setting. Every detail of this clubhouse, of this facility, really, really spectacular. Right down to the last of the details, and so much fun to be here for this IROC competition today. So again, it's there's a time limit to our race. It's scheduled to be about 25 minutes. They expect to get 12 to 15 laps of competition in. The 10-tenths facility is not the widest of race courses where these big IROC cars are concerned, but there are a couple of key spots where you may see the most passing. One is down the front side of the course here, all the way at the end, closest to US Highway 29. Right there, coming into and off of those corners, will be a passing opportunity. Turns 3, 4, 5, 6, and then as they snake their way down, they'll get toward a very downhill stretch of the race between a tight turn 13 and a banked, very 180-degree turn 14. That's also a spot where if you want to be brave on the brakes, you might get an opportunity to make a pass in some of the traffic. Here they are right here. That's turn 13 and this downhill, beautiful banked corner. The beautiful tree setting behind it. And that's another good passing spot for these drivers before they get into another very technical set of turns that take them all the way back around, uphill again towards start-finish. So our 18 cars getting ready to go. They'll cross the finish line this time. And then as they work their way through turn number 1 and 2, the tight couple of corners here, they'll venture out onto the longest straight stretch of this course, and that's where an alternate start line has been set up. And that is where the race will go to a green flag. So Kurt Busch in the purple car on pole position, driver's left. Jeff Gordon in the silver machine to driver's right. Then it's Bobby Labonte and Scott Pruitt in row number 2. You see the pace car is off. And across what will be the finish line, the field comes for the final time at reduced pace. They'll bend around this first and now second corner and make that hard left hand turn number 2. Then they'll begin to pick up the pace and head toward the start line as they climb up the hill toward turn number 3. And the green flag is out, and we're IROC racing at the Heritage Invitational. Kurt Busch gets the initial jump, and he'll lead over Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte, and Scott Pruitt. They're both number 20 machines. The one that says Stewart on the side, well, that's both of them as well. Nearly identical cars. So here is Busch and Gordon down the hill into that turn number 10. And beginning to climb back up the hill toward the last couple of corners of our 10-tenths Motor Club course. And as they come around to complete the first of the green flag laps in the race, pleasure to have join me in the booth someone who has had a great deal of success in everything he has raced. Two-time Indianapolis 500 winner, two-time IndyCar champion. He's a 6-time winner of the Grand Prix at Long Beach, and he's also an IROC champion. It's Al Unser Jr. here with us. How you doing?
How are you, sir?
I'm doing great.
Good,
I hope
good.
you are.
Yes, yes.
You loved racing in IROC over the years. Why?
Absolutely. Well, because we got to race against all these other great race car drivers, you know, and so I really loved the fact that I could go learn from Dale Sr., Kel Yarborough, Darrell Waltrip, Russell Wallace. I got to race against all these
Folks thought the stock car guys had an advantage, but they knew when you showed up, they were going to have their hands full. How did you get these kind of cars?
It took me a little bit, you know. As a matter of fact, the first IROC race I ran in 1986 and Daytona, and so the first thing I did when I got to the racetrack was go make friends with Dale Sr. That's the first thing I did, and he was great. He taught me so much and all that kind of stuff, and then, you know, I just enjoyed it because, you know, growing up with Dad knows Bobby and them racing in the IROC series, it was just something that I dreamed about doing. I just wanted to do it, you know, be invited. It took me a long time to be invited, but we finally were, and it was just great.
So Jeff Gordon leads Kurt Busch and Bobby Labonte with Scott Pruitt fourth and Tom Kendall running in fifth position. Al Unser Jr. visiting with us here. So you were a two-time IROC champion. You won 11 of these races.
Yeah.
And the first 5 years you ran IROC, you either won the championship or finished second in the championship. That must have been such a prideful thing for you.
Exceptionally well on road courses, and just started to try to, you know, think about the whole IROC championship and try to do the best I could, not necessarily win on the ovals, but place top 5 and so on, and then really concentrate on the road courses, which I did, and we won those. So.
Little change for second position in that downhill corner as Bobby Labonte gets by Kurt Busch. So Labonte chasing Gordon, Busch, Pruitt, Kendall, then Pappas and Dreesy next in line. So I'll talk about coming here this weekend. Walking into 1010's Motor Club, seeing this lineup of IROC cars, seeing this lineup of drivers. What's it been like?
What a beautiful facility to begin with. You know, 1010's, I mean, this place, the clubhouse, the way that it's built, all that kind of stuff is really great. And then, you know, the cars are my favorites, and so I come to this event like we did at Lime Rock and like we did at Laguna Seca. All 7 generations are represented here in the IROC series, dating back to the 70s when it first began. And so seeing the cars and the differences, the involvement of all that kind of stuff, how they evolved, and then coming just to see my friends, you know, Jeff and Bobby and Scott Borchetta's in the race. He owns my actual championship-winning car that I won the championship in both times, is that yellow number 2.
There's Bobby Labonte sliding by Jeff Gordon for the race lead. So Labonte, look out! He's going to spin it out off the corner just after taking the lead. Overcooked it a little bit.
Poor Bobby. He overcooked it a lot, Alan.
I was being nice to my pal. Oh, man. He's going to be thinking about that for a while.
Yeah, that even saddens my heart on that one, I tell you.
But you know what? I mean, they're going fast enough.
Hey, that proves that they're out there driving their tails off.
Yeah.
They're not taking it easy by any means. You can see they're driving 10/10s.
That's it. That's what it's all
they're
about.
Supposed to be doing at this place.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of these cars. We're riding on board with Kurt Busch. This is a 2003 IROC Firebird that Kurt owned as he goes for the lead on Jeff Gordon and gets it. And when Kurt was visiting with us earlier in the telecast here, he had such pride over having been an IROC champion and for being able to have this car and drive it today.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. You know, I was able to get one of my cars from from Jason Norrie there in the past, and it's just so great to be able to have one of these legendary cars that are out on this track.
There's Jeff Gordon. That's a 1996 IROC Firebird that's owned by Rick Hendrick. It is the one that Jeff drove to victory at Daytona in that 1996 season. So how much fun it must be for him to climb back aboard that car and bring back some fun memories.
It just brings all those memories back, and it's a great thing. And, you know, I was asking these guys, how do you like the circuit?
Yeah.
And, you know, they came, Bobby was one of them. He said it's very technical. It's extremely hard to pass. And I noticed from driving the pace cars that the majority of these corners are all late apex corners, and they're blind. You really can't see, like when you're looking through the in-car cameras here, you really can't see over the hill to where you're supposed to be, and so it takes a lot of practice laps to learn a track that has blind corners.
And they didn't get a lot of practice laps.
They did not get a lot of practice.
Yeah. So Jeff Gordon running second to Kurt Busch. And then you've got Scott Pruitt behind. And Scott's a great example of the variety of backgrounds of people that came and competed in IROC. Scott, 5-time Grand Am Daytona prototype champion, 5-time Rolex 24 winner, 2-time IMSA GTO champion, 2-time Trans Am champion.
And he was a hell of an IndyCar driver, too.
Yes.
Yep.
Scott,
Scott beat me at the Michigan 500 in '95, I think it was.
I put down.
I ran second.
I put down on my notes about Scott. I put diversity.
Yep.
All the sports car success, the two-engine champ car. He ran the Cup Series full time.
Yep. He was. Yep. In actuality, when I was a kid racing go-karts, he was winning in the go-karts. And I thought of him as one of my idols when I was younger.
That's fun.
Because he dominated the go-kart series.
Scott, 65 years old, still living in California, looks fit as could be. He looks great.
He is fit, yeah.
So he's running in third with Tommy Kendall right behind him in fourth. It's Kendall in that red car. That's not the car Tommy was supposed to drive originally this weekend, but Tommy's kind of a tall dude.
Yes,
and he couldn't fit in the car that they were going to have him drive this weekend. So they shifted him into this red machine, which is a car that's got a great history all its own. This is a car, it's got Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the side of it. It's been raced by both Dale Jr. and Dale Sr. And Sr. won at 99 in Talladega in it to clinch an IROC title. But if you remember, and I know as we watch Gordon go on, Kurt Busch here for the race lead.
These guys are going back and forth. It's great.
If you're an IROC aficionado and you remember a great race back at Michigan where Dale Sr. and Dale Jr. raced to like a photo finish victory with Sr. winning it, that was the car that Sr. was driving that day.
You know, my dad used to do that to me all the time. Just beat me just by inches.
Yeah, and he never let you forget it, did he?
That's right.
Yeah, that's fun stuff. So that's Kendall in that car labeled Earnhardt Jr., the red car, running in fourth position.
Tommy's a heck of a Trans Am driver during his career.
Yes.
He won all kinds of races in the Trans Am.
4-time Trans Am champion. 90, 95, 96, 97. He's fourth all time in Trans Am wins.
Yes.
And a great ambassador for the sport.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to tell you, our initial plan for this thing was to make sure we dropped back through the field and showed every car at least once, but it's kind of tough to leave the front when you got two Hall of Famers trading the lead back and forth every couple laps.
It is. Yeah.
Here's a good look at that technical section of the 10-10s course so you were talking about from the drone overhead.
Yeah, like Bobby was telling me, it's super hard to pass here. So to see these guys going back and forth like that is really, really super special now. Yeah.
Jeff's going to try the outside of that banked corner there on the downhill run. That'll put him on the inside for the right-hander. Has he got it?
He's got it.
There you go. So Jeff Gordon back to the lead.
Yeah, and the top four guys are super close right there.
Yeah, that's fun. And a look at a couple of nearly identical machines with Max Pappas and Tommy Dreese. Tommy's car is 2006 Pontiac IROC Firebird that he owns. The car Max is driving is a 2006 Firebird that is owned by IROC Holdings. You see almost identical paint schemes, both carrying number 20, both carrying Tony Stewart's name on the side.
Yeah, it looks good.
It's fun.
And they're racing each other, too, out there.
Yeah, of course, Tommy, the winner of the IROC race at the Monterey Motorsports Reunion, Laguna Seca, last summer.
Yep, he did a great job out there. I just love this concept that Ray Evernham has put together to bring these cars back and put them back on the racetrack, and then to have your past champions being driving the cars. It's a wonderful concept, and I just hope it keeps going year after year.
The appreciation for these cars and their history has seemed to really grow in the last several years. And I think part of that is, Ray and Evernham and Rob Kaufman purchasing the marks and the rights to the series, and really being involved in the vintage racing community has helped spark, I think, a lot of that interest in these cars and being out there and their availability and ability to come and be a fun place to race. How about these two?
They're going at it. It's pretty funny. Yep. They're enjoying themselves out there.
Kurt Busch in purple, Jeff Gordon in silver. Around the clubhouse they go to turn number 2. Got a car up front. That's Alan Davison, Arkansas SVRA racer. Who himself just being on the track today, by the way, is an accomplishment. His car had a mechanical problem yesterday. A transmission supplier basically stayed up and waited for them to drive an hour from here to bring the transmission so they could get it repaired and he could get back on the track and be part of our activities today. Nice job for them.
The history of this whole series is all the legendary drivers that have been the same over the years. And I love seeing these cars out on the track.
I'm just fascinated by how much these two have swapped the top spot. And yeah, I'm sure part of it's putting on a show. But I also know both these guys, they want to make that last pass.
Hey, that's right. That's right. They're racers.
Yes.
Okay, and they want to win.
Yes.
And they want to lead.
Yep.
And so, yes, they're taking care of their cars because these are vintage cars.
Yep.
But that only goes for a certain amount.
Yes.
It's still a race. They're in it. I know for sure, being out there, they're sweating, they're driving hard, and they're wanting to win. It's that simple.
So watching there's Scott Pruitt and Tommy Kendall in third and fourth go through turn number 2 and head up the stretch. Looking to see running maybe a couple seconds behind them would be the car you were talking about, Scott Borchetta's car. That was it's got your name on the side,
yes,
Jr.
It does.
on the side.
It's got, and that
Mark Martin
is the actual car that I won both my championships in '86 and '87.
That's very.
Or '86 and '88. I'm sorry. I finished second in '87.
Yeah, you finished first or second in all the years you ran it, the first 5. So there's a look at Mark Martin, and that is the car that he won an IROC championship in 1995. That for Mark, of course, the 5-time champion of the series and the driver with more wins than anybody else. Mark invited to IROC 12 seasons.
Mark was tough to beat. When he showed up, when he finally got there, prior to him getting there, Dale Sr. and I had tied for the record wins.
Yep.
And then once Mark Martin came, it was all over. I mean, he could drive those IROC cars and win. I mean, he was really especially good at it. So he becomes a 5-time champion.
Yeah, told us the story earlier of how he got the car for winning the championship, parked it in his dealership showroom, didn't think a thing about it until Ray Evernham called about going to Lime Rock a couple of years ago, and then said, okay, let's open the hood of that thing. Does it have an engine in it? Yes. Okay, let's go.
That makes sense. I think the Lauda car has pulled off.
That is Justin Bell, driving the oldest car that's in this field. It's a 1977 IROC Camaro that William Warner owns.
Okay.
And Bill, of course, the founder and a longtime head of the Amelia Island Concours the Elegance. And Justin got the last-minute call to jump behind that machine. That was the one Tommy Kendall was supposed to drive originally, but didn't fit in.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. He looks like he's in a safe place on the racetrack, so I honestly don't see us going yellow.
I think we're good. And here we go again for the race lead. Kurt Busch and Jeff Gordon. Kurt in the purple car, Jeff in the silver. Probably nobody smiling more than those two on this afternoon.
Well, they're definitely doing some great lap times. You can see they're lapping the majority of the field right here, so they're driving hard.
That's Christopher Evans and that Elio Castroneves titled 2005 Firebird that the leaders are going by. Chris, one of the three founders of the historic Stock Car Racing Association out of Indiana, Pennsylvania. Chris he took great delight in showing me the whole history of his car's racing history that IROC provided him, and that was a lot of fun. There's that yellow machine there. That's Scott Borchetta. That's the car that we were talking about. That's the Al Unser Jr. machine, 1994 Dodge Avenger that Scott owns.
Yeah.
He said that 25 different drivers competed in that car, and a couple of the wins scored by you and by Jeff Bodine.
Yep.
In that car.
Yep. Yeah. That car, when I won in 86 and 88, it was a Camaro body on it.
There is Scott as we wind down our competition, and the Busch and Gordon fight that went down to the line, and it looks like it's going to be Kurt Busch who's going to come away with the checkered flag.
What a race.
So he started first, he finished first, but it wasn't that straightforward. And certainly it'll be a lot of fun hearing what he and Jeff have to say afterwards in our podium ceremony. Kurt Busch, Jeff Gordon, Scott Pruitt, Tommy Kendall, Max Pappas, the first five. Then Tommy Dreese, Scott Borchetta, Bobby Labonte, Bill Elliott, and Mike Slutz will be the top 10.
Yeah, that's great. I tell you, I just love seeing these cars out there. I love the race course that they're racing on. It's challenging and very technical, and so it's good to see that everybody got her back safely, except for the Lauda car. I'm sure it had a mechanical, but other than the Bobby Labonte spin, we didn't have any issues out there. So those guys did a great job out there.
Pretty clean and pretty fun.
Yes.
Fun to visit with you.
Thank
you, May's coming up, and I'm sure we'll see you there as well.
You betcha.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Al Unser Jr., our two-time Indianapolis 500 winner and two-time IROC champion, joining us as Kurt Busch. He's going to lay down some rubber after winning at 1010's Motor Club today in our IROC competition. It's his car. He can burn him down if he wants. All right. Well, is that where it's going to end up parked? Well, we're going to have a podium ceremony here in just a minute. How they're going to arrange it down there, we'll leave it for them to sort out while we take a commercial break. Kurt Busch has won an IROC competition at the Heritage Invitational. Busch, Gordon, and Scott Pruitt on the podium when we come back to Concord, North Carolina.
The name you know and trust is Hendrick, representing 26 top automotive brands with over 30,000 vehicles available. New, pre-owned, hybrids, EVs, and the most popular luxury cars and SUVs. You'll enjoy a world-class shopping and service experience. That's why Hendrick is the #1 rated dealer group in the nation for online reputation, with over 900,000 5-star online reviews. Visit HendrickCars.com.
This is what we do. We maintain and we obsess. It's hours in the garage and days slipping by. Trusting Pennzoil to protect what matters most. Taking care of the things we love. It sounds obvious. When you do it right, you're protecting an engine for its lifetime. So look under the hood. You'll see what drives us.
Engine protection for the lifetime of your vehicle. Pennzoil. Long may we drive.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere, on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
There's the scene by the victory podium at 1010's Motor Club in Concord, North Carolina. Our podium finishers from today's International Race of Champions competition are gathering along with some of the other drivers. Kurt Busch is your winner over Jeff Gordon and Scott Pruitt. Tommy Kendall finished 4th. Max Pappas finished in 5th position. Top of the Pro-Am drivers, Scott Borchetta finished in 7th. Nice recovery by Scott and his gang after having the clutch problem as the car went to the grid. But how much fun did these guys have going back and forth at it for the race lead on the racetrack today, huh? Very nice. And, of course, Kurt, our 2003 IROC champion, 2004 NASCAR Cup Series champion, and a NASCAR Hall of Famer inducted back in January. And he is standing by near that car that he owns with our Amanda Busick.
Oh, he's talking about the race here, but I want the fans to hear it as well. I got to take out a look at these tires before they released us to come down here for this interview. I have to say, it was smoky all the way even up there, but you were talking about that race and said your car was losing it there at the end. What do you mean by that?
What was cool is Goodyear brought us a tire that they might run in the Truck Series and O'Reilly Series later this year, and they used us to kind of like test it out. And, man, it was cool the way the cars would take off, had tons of grip. And then towards the end, I mean, we weren't messing. There was oil down, and we were starting to slip slide around. It was just like an old-school race, and I was smiling the whole time. I really enjoyed the adrenaline of it all and racing Gordon. And then, like you saw, like we were on edge when Bobby Labonte made a mistake when he took the lead. And we knew we had our good three. And then with Pruitt, Tommy Kendall, Bill Elliott, Borchetta, like there's the gang here is the who's who of motorsports. And it's really cool to have this opportunity for my guys at KBS Motorworks with Bryce and Kenny. My guys, like, this car sat under a cover for 20 years, and Ray Evernham called and said, we want to get the gang back together.
Well, I'm sure those fans would agree that this guy is one of the who's who of motorsports as well, but we took your in-car as you were burning down this race car. You talked about that smile. Does that experience ever get old?
It never does. And again, we always talk about teamwork, but it's something special when you can just pull a cover off a car after 20 years and go through it with a checklist that I learned from some of my Cup crew chiefs, my Truck Series guys, Southwest Tour guys. You know, my mom and dad are here today. It feels just like being like a kid again, and that's what IROC is meant to be. The spirit of IROC. You see the colors of the cars. Yes, there might have been 4 Bill Elliott's and 6 Tony Stewart cars. But it's great to see the camaraderie of everyone working together to put on this event. Like we were working today. I'm thirsty.
I know, immediately wanted a bottle of water out of that race car. And again, not to put you on the spot, will we see you here again?
Oh, absolutely. It's so much fun. When you build a car up like this, and we ran Laguna Seca last summer, we'll be running it again. And again, just the fun with teamwork. And then with Jeff and the trash talk and the meetings that we've had, this fraternity is really cool to be part of. So thank you, everyone, for coming out. 10 cents. I owe you some paint. Marcus, I got you. I'll help paint this.
Kurt Busch showed up, put it on pole, and won the race here in IROC.
That's a lot of fun. And congratulations to Kurt. We'll hear from the other podium finishers, have our podium ceremony in just a minute, and it's just part of our day here at the Heritage Invitational. The IROC Pro-Am competition coming up later, 7:15 tonight Eastern Time here on Racing America. But we've got more after our IROC competition, including that podium, next.
The name you know and trust is Hendrick, representing 26 top automotive brands with over 30,000 vehicles available. New, pre-owned, hybrids, EVs, and the most popular luxury cars and SUVs. You'll enjoy a world-class shopping and service experience. That's why Hendrick is the #1 rated dealer group in the nation for online reputation, with over 900,000 five-star online reviews. Visit HendrickCars.com.
This is what we do. We maintain and we obsess. It's hours in the garage and days slipping by. Trusting Pennzoil to protect what matters most. Taking care of the things we love. It sounds obvious. When you do it right, you're protecting an engine for its lifetime. So look under the hood. You'll see what drives us.
Engine protection for the lifetime of your vehicle. Pennzoil. Long may we drive.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere, on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
Well, the feel-good vibes of day #1 of the Heritage Invitational continue this afternoon here at 1010's Motor Club as Kurt Busch gets ready to celebrate his win in our International Race of Champions Series competition today. I'm just looking at all those paint swirls through the beautiful white paint job marking the corner there. And I'm trying to calculate how much paint it might take for Kurt to fix that up. He said he was going to paint it, but it was worth it, right? I mean, come on. That's a winner's celebration. And well-deserved. Here it is. Yeah, check it out. Burn it down. Well, one thing Kurt Busch knows how to do is win races and celebrate them well. 34 Cup Series wins across the time of his career. Of course, IROC as well, a winner in the IROC competition in his championship season of 2003, and a winner here today at 1010's Motor Club. That fight that he and Jeff Gordon put on for the top spot, it was a great show. It was a lot of fun to see. And again, it's just the beginning of our competition here. We've got the Pro-Am tonight, where 10 amateur drivers who paid to enter the race have been matched up with 10 professional drivers, and they'll run a series of time trials and line up against each other. It's an elimination-style bracket, and that comes up tonight starting at 7:15 here on Racing America, wherever you are watching. RacingAmerica.com, the Racing America streaming site. You can see that tonight starting at 7:15 Eastern Time from here at 10:10. And then tomorrow, starting at 12 noon, we'll have our coverage of the 1010's Motor Club Heritage Invitational Concours d'Elegance. That is tomorrow, starting at noontime here on Racing America. And we'll culminate our day with all of the awards that go out. Over 120 amazing vehicles will be here tomorrow. If you're in the Charlotte area, come on over and join us. And otherwise, we'll have the coverage for you on Racing America at 12 tomorrow Eastern Time. Getting our podium ceremony organized downstairs. And getting the stage. And the dignitaries all lined up and ready to go. So working on it. And we'll have it for you here in just a minute. Al Unser Jr. mentioned when he was here with us, of course, the Monterey Rolex Motorsports reunion coming up later in the summer. It's in August. That is the next scheduled appearance for these IROC cars and the stars that drive them. And if you're on the West Coast side of things, you get another chance to see them. And just like last summer, 7 generations of IROC cars represented, and fun to see them out at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. And that comes up again in mid-August, the next appearance for the IROC teams and drivers. All right, we'll take a break while we finish getting the podium ceremony all set up and come back to the Heritage Invitational in just a minute. We'll hear from Jeff Gordon, Scott Pruitt, and our winner, Kurt Busch, coming up next.
The name you know and trust is Hendrick, representing 26 top automotive brands with over 30,000 vehicles available. New, pre-owned, hybrids, EVs, and the most popular luxury cars and SUVs. You'll enjoy a world-class shopping and service experience. That's why Hendrick is the #1 rated dealer group in the nation for online reputation, with over 900,000 5-star online reviews. Visit HendrickCars.com.
This is what we do. We maintain and we obsess. It's hours in the garage and days slipping by. Trusting Pennzoil to protect what matters most. Taking care of the things we love. It sounds obvious. When you do it right, you're protecting an engine for its lifetime. So look under the hood. You'll see what drives us.
Engine protection for the lifetime of your vehicle. Pennzoil. Long may we drive.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
The checkered flag has come down on our International Race of Champions IROC competition as part of the Heritage Invitational today here at beautiful 1010s Motor Club. It's time to go trackside for the podium ceremony, and here's Amanda Busick.
As we get ready for podiums down here, Al Unser Jr. has made it from the booth down here to hand out medals to our drivers here. We're going to break this up into classes. We're going to start with our Firebird class. Third on the podium, he had 9 top 5s in his career in IROC, Tommy Kendall. He put on quite a show here today trying to give it to Kurt Busch, but Busch had the defense on lock. But Jeff Gordon, 12 top 5s in his career in IROC. And on the top step, reigning here supreme at the 1010s Motor Club, Kurt Busch. Well, Tommy, I talked to you ahead of this weekend, and you knew that you were going to have speed here. What was key to finding this bottom step of the podium?
Well, obviously starting towards the front was the key, but I thought I had a shot at fourth there. I didn't see the oil that everybody else saw, and so Scott slowed way down. And I said, wow, he's being real respectful of that yellow flag, and he gave me a sniff of it, but then he picked it back up, and I didn't have a shot. So it was pretty much just keeping it clean. You know, the track did grease up a little bit there, but it was really fun, and as an old guy, that was about the right length of race. So I hope everybody enjoyed that.
Well, Jeff, as I sneak over to you, I know you tried. Kurt knew you tried. Was there anything left?
I think we put it all out there. I mean, it was a great battle. I think our cars are pretty evenly matched. There were some places he was stronger, other places I was stronger. So, you know, we were able to make some passes and just couldn't hold it. But Kurt drove a great race, and all in all, just what a spectacular day out here at 1010. Thank all of you for coming out. I think all of us as drivers are having, you know, a blast out here driving these IROC cars, seeing all of our heroes out here on the track, but most of all, just seeing the crowd come out in the great weather. So, yeah, I couldn't be happier than to be up here on the podium, and this guy deserved the win.
Thank you, Jeff. And Kurt, as you continue to take in this moment, why is it important to be the tallest when it comes to podiums?
Got to be taller than Tommy Kendall over here. It's amazing, just the camaraderie and the fun that we all got to have, and just seeing the cars on track, all the colors, and the teamwork of everyone from Ray Evernham. IROC, Ray Evernham. Round of applause for Ray. He told me to get my car out from under a cover that it had been under for 20 years. And it's cool it made us feel like kids again. And like Jeff was saying, Jeff was strong on the fast rights and into the braking zone. And it was like old school, like who's quick where? And then the track did grease over. There's some oil. And it was like that old school fun of, I got to figure this out to bring home the W. So again, thank you, fans. What a perfect day. A lot of fun. Hi, Mom. I know you're up there somewhere. Thank you again.
Your Firebird podium here at the 1010s Motor Club. Drivers taken in the moment alongside Al Unser Jr., who was in the booth calling this race. We'll get these guys cleared from the stage and start our next podium for the banjos. Two more podiums to go. We're going to kick off with the banjos now. In third, he had 16 top fives in his career in IROC, Bill Elliott. Lovely moment between Al Unser Jr. and Bill Elliott. Bill, you stay up there. There's a step that has a 3 on it for you. Well, he was worried about his race car ahead of this race, but not worried about it no more. Finding that second step on the podium, Scott Borchetta. In the Al Unser car. And if we had an overall podium here today, this guy would have been on it, finishing third overall, but first in banjos, Scott Pruitt. And another big round of applause for our banjos podium celebrating here today. Some nice pictures, guys. Scott Pruitt getting an autograph on his hat from Bill Elliott and Al Unser Jr. to remember this day. And for our AM podium as we get set for Al Unser Jr. to hand out these medals to these guys. In third place, Dave Roberts. Runner-up here in class, Ross Merrill. And from the state of Ohio, taking the top step, Mike Slutz. Congratulations to our AM competitors here today. They hold the DNA and the passion that all of us do here for the love of speed, the love of competition, and the love of racing. Congratulations, guys. Alan?
All right, Amanda, and I think that's really what today has been all about, is appreciation. Appreciation for what IROC stood for in the 30 years that it ran, appreciation for the cars, the competitors, and carrying on that history and introducing it to newer generations of race fans as well. And doing that in a real spirit of fun and fellowship is part of what's made this day special for me here at the Heritage Invitational. And it's just another step in the continuing story of the International Race of Champions. And it's just the beginning of our Fun Friday here at 1010's Motor Club. Don't forget, tonight at 7:15 Eastern Time, we're back here on Racing America with coverage of the IROC Pro-Am. 10 professional drivers matched up with 10 amateur drivers going at it tonight against the clock for a winner-take-all elimination competition. That's at 7:15 Eastern tonight. For this one this afternoon, Kurt Busch and Jeff Gordon swapped the lead back and forth on this beautiful 1010's Motor Club course. And in the end, it was one champion edging out another as Kurt Busch, the 2003 IROC champion, took the checkered flag in our Heritage Invitational round of IROC. For everybody here at our Racing America crew and at the 1010's Motor Club, Alan Bestwick for Amanda Busick, thanks for joining us today. And we'll see you tonight at 7:15 Eastern Time for the Pro-Am competition of our IROC day here. And, of course, tomorrow at noon, the Concours d'Elegance as part of the 2026 Heritage Invitational. Kurt Busch, your IROC winner today here in Concord. See you tonight at 7:15 for the Pro-Am.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of Racing America. We hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.